two, one. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting film journey here on Delusions of Grandeur. I am one of your hosts, but today we are going to be going on about a pick from our good friend Kroll here, otherwise known as Kroll Dick York, is the real Darwood. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the movie that you picked and maybe why you picked it.
Gladly. Well, I picked Bewitched. I actually like the film. I'm a fan of Will Ferrell, and yes, his character was super annoying, but his character was supposed to be super annoying. He was playing an asshole actor that was sucked. It was too big for his own britches, and slimy. He had a slimy manager, basically depicting what everyone thinks a lot of Hollywood is like, and maybe some are. Some are. I don't really know. But so yeah, his character is supposed to be annoying, and you're not supposed to really care for his character too much. He does pull through. He does turn out to be a decent person. Even when you first realize that, he kind of likes Samantha, but he still goes through screwing her over because of his slimy manager. Well, he is an asshole. So, he's not meant to be a nice guy or a good actor. He's just meant to show. He had a bunch of horrible movies. His last one completely flopped, which actually looked like the better of the three from the 2 seconds we saw. Not that that was any good, but yeah. So I think he played the role really good. Now, some people might say, "Oh, the actor is just annoying," so he played it well because he was annoying. I disagree. I really like this, and it wasn't supposed to be a reboot. The whole idea is they're making a movie about rebooting the TV show. So it's a different take on doing the same thing, but they're doing the same thing in a different way, really. I mean, yeah, it's somewhat of the same story, but with a nice twist. So I kind of like how they did that. You know, they basically told the story from a newer point of view, but by throwing in all the Easter eggs of the old show because they were pretending to remake the show. So I personally think they did an awesome job, and like I said, Will Ferrell did great because, yeah, his character is super annoying and an asshole, and his character is supposed to be super annoying and an asshole. So again, I think he did well, and I don't think it's because he is super annoying or an asshole. I just think he's a good actor. Plenty of movies done. That's good. Um, this was actually on a list of Will Ferrell movies that whoever wrote this article said it was one of his worst, um, but not the worst. There was another one which I haven't seen yet, so I can't honestly say. Uh, but no matter how good an actor is or actress or whatever, there's always someone out there saying, "Oh, this is horrible," or "That's horrible," or "That," and this, or whatever. Hey, just have some people that just absolutely hate him for absolutely no reason. So back to the reason I picked the movie. Uh, what was it, last week or 2 weeks ago? I don't even remember because I want to put it on my mind. Dave showed us the most worst movie ever. It was absolutely horrible. 2 hours or however long the movie was, wasted my fucking time. Excuse my French, and I was aggravated. And so I'm going to be doing nothing but Will Ferrell movies for a while. I'm not going to do that, but I did decide to do one, and so I actually looked up what people thought of the worst Will Ferrell movies were, and I liked Bewitched, so I figured we'll throw that at and see if how he feels about it. So yes, it was a revenge, and I don't care, but that's why we took the movie.
So
I did like it.
So if the movie was bad, you wouldn't care about me and Tammy being collateral damage to your revenge on Dave.
Well, Boris, you haven't always picked the greatest movies, and neither has Tammy, so heck. But the revenge was with Dave, but you guys
On
don't
which
hate Will Ferrell.
particular
He
movie?
does. So that was the point. But there's
On
always
which
collateral
particular
damage
movie
in
are you
war.
enacting revenge on me for?
There was always collateral damage in war, so. And all is fair in love in war. Unless you care, declare it's war, not love.
Oh my.
What did you say, Dave?
On which movie are you enacting revenge? Because there have been many.
The last one, because that was the worst. At least the other ones had some fun in them.
Which one?
I don't know the last one we did. Just said I'm trying to forget about it.
The last one, you brought up, Dave.
Oh, that I brought up.
Oh, the fucking the black man wrongly accused and killed people with his penis.
Oh,
That absolutely was just stupid, horrible, and not fun in any way. Like hearing that someone killed people with a penis actually sounded like it could be funny. But it wasn't. Trust me, don't watch it.
I still want to see it all cleaned up. That being said, I guess let's get into first.
He wants his junk cleaned up. All right,
Go ahead,
so
we'll get to the guys' first impressions. So.
I was just about to say, being the host, let's get into first impressions. All right, Big Mouth, let's start with you.
It's me?
No, the other Big Mouth.
Okay. Well, let me first say that there is only one movie that I like with Will Ferrell in it, and it is called Stranger Than Fiction. That is the only movie that he has ever been good in. Every other movie he has ever been in has flopped in my mind.
Oh, and yeah, Elf was a big flop too.
That being said, I know I'm not the only one that thinks that way, but I also know that he has
I know, there's all two of you.
Now, that being said, I like everyone in this film except for Will Ferrell. I'm sorry, but annoying is one thing. Overactively annoying, being annoying, and obviously obnoxious annoying is another. And I can't stand that shit. I can't stand that shit. I'm sorry, but you can be annoying without being obnoxiously annoying.
Of course you can, but the point was to be obnoxiously annoying.
And I'm sorry, now, if that kind of annoying is on there, then I'm not going to be watching much of the film. Which I know that I was not, but at least when he was on the screen. But that being said, I do like Nicole Kidman a lot. I will say this: I like the fact that her friend was and in fact played a witch on Broadway. That blonde chick, she played Glinda, the Good Witch, in 2003's Wicked.
Now, talking about annoying, she was fucking annoying.
She was actually okay.
No, she was cute looking, but she was annoying.
But she played Glinda, the Good Witch, in the musical Wicked.
I hope she was a lot better than that, because she was annoying in this.
She was fine. Whereas Will Ferrell was just absolutely
okay. Awesome. Yeah. Sexist.
I'm not sexist.
Oh, you got boobs. You gotta be good.
She was fine. Although her jumping up and down was almost annoying.
Now, if her tits were big, at least that would have been enjoyable.
That scene was a little bit annoying. Like any
Nicole Kidman bouncing out now was cute.
Yes, that was cute.
She's like, I don't know why we're doing this, but it's kind of fun.
Okay, I've got one question. Is Tammy snoring on us right now.
Yeah, I thought so too. Well, it's not like she's the first person to fall asleep on the show.
Huh?
Welcome
True,
back to the
true.
show.
No.
Okay, because they were saying that you were snoring.
No. Maybe it's something. Maybe I hit something on my phone.
Yeah, okay. Two of us heard snoring, but and Dave probably heard it, but might not say anything because he lives with you.
I was looking at something
sorry,
on my phone and it might have hit something.
I'm sorry. I just found
Okay,
it.
you were snoring for like 10 minutes.
I'm sorry. I just found it too funny not to say anything.
I heard it and I was just like, I was always going to say anything and then I didn't. And then Boris did. So I was like, well, cat's out of the bag. But anyways, I think I'm the first one to fall asleep on the show, so it's all right. At
Yeah.
least you woke up right away.
Ah.
Anyways, so Sleeping Beauty, what do you think of the show? Oh wait, were you done, Dave?
It was okay. I mean, I used to watch this TV show, so it was like I kept thinking of the TV show while I was watching it, you know. And
But the movie
this
was
instance-
supposed to be about making the TV show, so it wasn't like they were remaking the show. They were making a movie about remaking the TV show.
I understand.
I liked that twist.
I guess I gotta side with David a little bit that Will Ferrell is somewhat annoying because
But he was supposed to play an annoying actor.
did
Not
a lot
that
better
annoying.
job than he did.
There have been many people who have done annoying a lot better than he did, and overacting like that. See, that's why I couldn't
It was
enjoy
hilarious,
I
especially
like
when Isabel put the spell on him and made him act like a complete jackass. That was hilarious.
I have to say it
He
was
did
cute.
that perfectly.
I liked her trying to be normal and not be a witch and all the little things that she was running into and everything. I thought it was cute, you know. It was just him that I wasn't that crazy about.
I like Nicole Kidman. But yeah, anyways, is that your first impression, Tammy?
Yeah.
Was this your first time watch?
Yes.
Really?
Yep.
It was not my first time watching it.
Now that's surprising. I figured you hadn't watched because you don't like Will Ferrell.
I actually watched it once before, partially because of Nicole Kidman, and I honestly like to try to give Will Ferrell like the benefit of the doubt. Like maybe he'll be good in this next movie, because the people around me are always like, yo, you gotta see this Will Ferrell movie, and every time I go see it, I'm like, dude, he was fucking stupid.
You just don't like his brand of overacting.
I
don't like overacting.
I think of Will Ferrell's comedy like I think of Napoleon Dynamite.
Napoleon Dynamite is one of the worst comedies ever made, and I wouldn't even consider it a comedy. But I can't say it's the worst movie ever made since I've seen Salo.
And another one that's in the same vein of Napoleon Dynamite is Rushmore.
Never saw it.
Okay. Napoleon Dynamite.
What?
What, you done?
Yeah.
Okay.
I told you that already. I was just waiting for you to go to somebody else.
Yeah, but then he interrupted and I forgot what you said.
No, I'm done.
Philip, Boris.
He said that he watched it before, but I don't think I watched it before. So,
Boris.
I have heard of this movie before, and I'm not sure. Maybe it's possible that I stumbled upon it on TV at some point and watched maybe a part of it. I'm not sure, but this is the first time I watched it from the beginning to the end. And I must say, since generally I am also not that much of a fan of Will Ferrell, uh, I kind of expected something worse. The movie was better than I expected.
Oh, that's
Um,
good.
yeah, I also must say that I wasn't much of a fan of his character, but it's not like the whole movie was bad because of him. I did definitely find Nicole Kidman's character much more interesting than his. That much is true. And all the witchcraft stuff they put in the story, that was good, that was fun. I did enjoy that and had some good fun with it. So all in all, yeah, the movie was okay. It was watchable, had its fun moments. Maybe it's not something I would be crazy about watching again, but it was worth watching at least this one time.
All right. Is that your final thought?
As far as first impressions go, I think so, yeah.
All right. And of course, this was not my second time. Yeah, this was not my first time watching it. I saw it shortly after it came out. Not in the theaters, probably on cable. Definitely sought out to see it because I loved the TV show and I like the fact that they were doing a nice twist on it. And I'm a Will Ferrell fan usually. There is a Will Ferrell movie I can't stand. It's not Will Ferrell was not that great in it, but anybody playing in the part, if they had done it the way they had him do it, it would have been horrible. And that was Land of the Lost. They should have done the same thing where they were like doing like a spoof of remaking or something. They should not have tried to remake it into a comedy. It wasn't a comedy. It was an action adventure. It kind of reminded me of when they redid the Brady Bunch, but even worse. And
They
yeah,
did
it
redid
just
Land of the Lost with Will Ferrell.
Land of the Lost was just movie was just atrocious, and it upsets me as a Land of the Lost fan and as a Will Ferrell fan to even know that it exists out there. So I do not think of it at all when I hear Land of the Lost. I only think of the original TV series, and I have heard they thought about rebooting it. It might be good. I might enjoy it. Um, I guess the City Stacks could get a nice upgrade and they could make it good if as long as they make it action adventure, not stupid comedy. I love comedy, don't get me wrong, but the show was not comedy and it shouldn't have been comedy. And they shouldn't have tried to make a comedy. And they do that a lot with all these remakes like
Yeah, like Dark
21
Shadows.
Jump
They tried
Street
to make
and
that a comedy when it wasn't.
Simon and Simon and no, Miami Vice was regular. I don't know. There's a bunch they've remade lately.
Starsky and Hutch.
That's what I was thinking. Starsky and Hutch. Again, I liked those versions, comedy versions, but enough already with comedy versions. It doesn't always work. I mean, a TV show, I can see that working as a comedy. Bunch of people stuck in the past with dinosaurs running for their life. I don't see that as a comedy. It's just not. Oh no! Tyrannosaurus Rex is gonna eat us! Ha ha ha! That's funny. No, it's not. It's terrifying. But anyways, back to this show, this movie. I really love it. Nicole Kidman kicked ass, and I really enjoyed the woman that played her mother in the show. The one who played the actress who played the mother. Um, I loved how she basically played Endora playing Endora. She was a witch who was playing a witch as well. I really like that little twist. and Samantha, or well, Isabel really didn't even know that she was a witch either, and how her father, who's there, didn't realize. He finally started to suspect something when he wasn't into any other women, and it wasn't that he wasn't into any other women. She put a spell on the women to be truthful, so he wasn't attracted anymore. So she didn't put a spell on him. She put a spell on them. So yeah, she was great. She was I don't even know the actress's name.
Shirley MacLaine.
Oh, I should have known her. Bill, I feel stupid. Okay, of course, Shirley MacLaine's been in a lot of stuff, and don't know why I didn't recognize her. I guess I'm just getting old. But yeah, she was awesome in this role. And Michael Caine, from Alfred to a rich bastard to sleeping with his best friend's daughter, whatever role he's in, he's awesome. He's absolutely awesome. And so, of course, he's going to kick ass as the father because he's absolutely awesome. Now, Steve Carell, another guy. Now, I think the first role I saw him in, or that I remember seeing him in, was Bruce Almighty. And he plays such a penis head, such an asshole in that role. I wasn't even sure if I liked the actor, because I certainly didn't like the character. When he came back to do a sequel, Evan Almighty, he was a much more likable character.
Steve Carell.
What?
And then everything else I saw him in, he was incredible. I absolutely love his acting now. And The Office, if you've never seen The Office, watch it, because that's what she said. And if you don't get that, watch the show.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know what that means and you didn't know where it came from, watch the show. Because I knew what it meant, but I didn't know where it came from. In fact, when I first started watching it, I'm like, oh, he's doing that. And then I realized, oh, he's the one that started it. So, yeah, that's pretty funny. I still say that's what she said. Not as much as I used to, but yeah, because it's fun. But anyways, yeah, Steve Carell just absolutely kick. My favorite character was Samantha until Tabitha came on, and then it was Tabitha. She was just so adorable, and she was like my little sister. I always wanted, even when I got wanted, and she wasn't like her. So she was just so cute, using her little finger to go to the nose. And honestly, every time I tried to copy Smith, I had to do the same thing because I couldn't twitch my nose. So Tabitha was just so adorable. I loved her character. I always wanted to see like a spin-off with like a older Tabitha grown up, and something like that. That would have been great. But anyways, yeah, I love Samantha. Questionably, they were doing like a beginning, so obviously they didn't have her in this one. But they did bring a lot of our favorite characters. Our bumbling Aunt Clara. We see the mother though. Although the actress playing the mother was so much like the original Endora, it was like we saw the mother, but we didn't actually get to see the mother. So it was strange not seeing the mother, even as a cameo or something. Sorry about that. My mouth got super dry. I couldn't talk. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm praised for. I can't talk. But anyways, so yeah, that was my first impression. Everyone did an awesome job. The actor, I don't know his name, but they played the slimy manager. He definitely was a slimy manager and someone you wanted to see get bewitched and put a tail on or something, turn into a frog. But yeah. So anyways, let's move on to the plot. We start off with Samantha, and she's where is she first? She's in the she's not in the diner first. She's going in the store. Yeah, she's in the store, and she's trying to. Oh yeah, Bath and Beyond, right? She goes in there, and of course she's talking to her father about how she must be normal, and then two people are arguing about paint. And she goes, "I want to buy you a paint," and he's like, "With who?" And he's like, "I don't know, with somebody, and who's a mess, and who needs me, and blah blah blah, and all this." And he's like, basically telling her it doesn't exist, and you can't be with a mortal, and all this other stuff, and um, you know. And then, of course, she does a little bit of magic here and there. And, then she's like, I'm done. And then they get to the counter and they tell her the price. And he's like, you need money. And she's like, oh, yeah. And, of course, she opens up a tarot card and she swipes it like it's a credit card and it turns into a credit card. And she's like, that's the last one. And then they go out the door and she does something else, which I forgot what it was, if you guys remember. But then she said, that's the last one. And of course, then she goes and she finds a house, and it's off for sale. And it's just an empty house for some reason. It's off for sale, and she puts for rent, and then she puts furnished, and she puts, and of course, you see her walking with a real estate agent that just happens to show up, and she says she'll take it, and she says, "I need your references." I don't have your references. Well, I guess you can't have it. She said, who snapped her finger or curled her ear, which I thought was weird, by the way. And she sign changes to no references needed. So next thing she moves in, and of course it's fully furnished because it said it was. And then she ends up seeing the TV and being told that she needs to go get a job. And then she's like, yes, I need a job. So she starts cooking. And then, of course, we see Will Ferrell, and, he's being talking about doing the Bewitched TV show and going to talk to the directors and being nice to the manager. And the manager's like, don't be nice to me. And he slaps him a couple times. They slap me. He's like, yes, be an asshole. And then he goes in there, and he's actually nice at first. He's like, yes, I'm so excited about doing Bewitched, and yes, I'm glad it's about Samantha and it's an ensemble class. He was a fan of the show, like he really showed he was a fan of the show. And at that moment, he wasn't playing an annoying jerk; he was playing an honest person. And then, of course, his slimy manager said, because he wants more money, so he wants everything to be on his star, so he'll make more money, even though the show shouldn't be on Darren ever. So he's just a slimy scumbag manager, and he talks to him. He's like, "You gotta be mean. You gotta be tough with these guys." So he comes back and he's like, I want 3 trailers. And first he said, I want none of them. Now, that was the only request I could see him making. That makes sense. Okay? You want to take the focus slightly off Samantha, a little bit, to put on him, only because, Darren was a little bit of a backspace. I don't agree that nobody knows when they got switched. I noticed. I ain't like Dick Sargent anywhere near as much as Dick York. So my name is Dick York was the only real Darren. Because that's my opinion.
So the character of Darren had a different name on the show from what they gave him in the movie.
Dick York was the actor who played in the TV show.
Oh.
Dick Sargent was the name of the actor they got to replace him. He left. Oh. I don't know if he was fired or he left. I don't know what happened. All I know is that he got to season 2, I believe. It was Dick Sargent. And unlike soap operas, they don't tell you. Soap operas used to say, now being played by blah, 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 temporarily or for good or whatever.
Yeah, I have seen that.
Nowadays,
So,
instead of recasting a character, they kill off the character and make a whole new one, which is fucked up. Sometimes
y-
that's okay, but lots of times it isn't good.
yeah, like I'm also not much of a fan of it when they recast a character, but it's still, though, if I have to choose between that and killing a character off for that reason, I think recasting is the lesser of two
Well, right.
evils.
That's what I mean. Let's face it. Things happen. You know. Um, although I did like what they did with 2.5 Men, and they killed Charlie off. But I said from the beginning that he's not really dead, and Rose probably has him tied up in a basement somewhere out in England. That's exactly what they did at the end. I was like, holy shit, I could write this stuff.
And
I said that. But anyways, it's a different show. But anyways, yeah, I mean, sometimes they have to recast, you know, and sometimes it's fine, and other times they're better off killing a character, you know. When they recast Jerry O'Connell in Sliders, they did a poor job. Poor job. The show just died after that. But you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Um, but anyways, with this one, anyways, so yeah, uh, so he's playing Darwin, which Darwin, I mean Darren. He's playing Darren, who is always being called Darwood by her, his mother-in-law, who is the true definition of the mother-in-law. Um, but anyways, you know, so I understand him wanting to cast a nobody in the Samantha role, and you know, so that wasn't too bad. Everything else was way over the top. Even his sliding, yeah, the rise was going over. So yeah. Um, so anyways, I think Will Ferrell did that perfectly, being way over obnoxious. You guys just think he was just being over obnoxious. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But anyway, so let's get thoughts on these first scenes. The first scene was Samantha and her dad, and then with the first scene with Will Ferrell. We'll start with you, Davey.
I thought it was funny with her dad because she did
Okay,
like,
I guess we'll start with the female Davey.
huh?
So I guess we'll start with the female Davey.
Oh, I thought you said Tammy.
No, I said Davey.
Yeah,
Go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Tammy.
You spoke anyways.
What?
I'll go after Tammy.
I know.
Ladies first.
Go ahead, Tammy.
I thought it was cute. I mean, her dad, she's she's like, I want to be like real people. And those people were arguing. I want to argue like over what to paint this, the kitchen, or what to paint the bail. And she's listening to those people, and her dad's like, you know, and she's grabbing like all kinds of stuff and putting it in the cart and everything, you know. And then,
Probably doesn't know what most of it is.
and then, later when she met Dude, yeah, that was kind of cute. He was, you know, he was already getting annoying. So,
What about the part where he's being genuine?
huh?
When he was actually showing his love for the TV show.
It was all right.
Alrighty then.
Okay, so now I understand why Dick York actually left the show.
What was it?
Sixth season.
What
Evidently,
season?
he left the show in the sixth season.
Oh, six. Well, I
of
was thinking second.
Bewitched. And apparently, he had a back injury that had happened on a production before
Oh,
the series.
Oh.
Trying to remember the name of it.
Just look it
Here
up.
it is. It was an injury from on the set of a film called They Came to Cordura.
I don't think I've ever seen him in anything other than.
Evidently, it was a chronic pain that was from the injury that made standing for long periods of time difficult, and also caused the actor to become dependent on painkillers to get through the day. So, a lot of his acting on the set was done lying down or sitting or something like that, and oftentimes they would make sure that he was on business during like the third season of the show. So, but what was your question to me originally?
What was your thought of the first scene with Samantha and her father, and then the first scene with Jack?
Was not an entire fan of the first scene with Jack, but any scenes with father was great. I mean, when she was talking in the supermarket with her father, that was priceless.
Yeah, I liked that one too.
That's
I
what
mean,
that's what I'm talking about.
And whenever he needed to pop up here and there just to talk with her or whatnot, those were pretty cool. I like Michael Caine as an actor. I mean, I think one of the first movies I saw him in was a movie in like the late '70s called to early '80s called The Island, which was a fairly.
What was that one he did? Was it Dirty Old Scoundrels or Dirty Rotten Scoundrels?
I think it was Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Yeah, he played a scam artist.
But yeah, he's just a great British actor. I know I've seen him in a version of Jack the Ripper.
Did you see the one? I can't remember the name of it, where he's sleeping with his best friend's daughter.
I'm trying to remember.
It was kind of a comedy, but basically he was like, he grew up as like Uncle blah blah blah, and then when she got older, she was really into him, and at first she was just like, no, we can't do this type thing, and then he was like, but she's like super hot, so you know, and he ends up falling for her, and then of course he's worried that his best friend's gonna find out. It's a funny movie.
I mean, he did play in the Muppet Christmas Carol as Scrooge, so I liked him in that role.
I don't think I've seen that one, but yeah, I love him in everything I've seen him in, and of course he played Alfred.
Yeah, he's one of the ones that I don't mind him in any of his roles, and I've seen a lot of his stuff that he's done. So I got a kick out of his role as Isabel's father in this. I wish we'd have seen more of him than we saw of Will Ferrell's antics, but yeah. I guess if I had to choose a scene where I actually didn't mind Will Ferrell,
Let's do favorite scenes at the end. All right.
It wasn't a favorite scene, but
okay, well let's do that scene.
But it's a scene where I didn't mind Will Ferrell in.
Well, when we get to that scene, you can let us know.
Okay.
All right. And Boris?
Well, this beginning was the part with Isabel and her father was really funny. I did like the father character a lot. The topic they were discussing at the beginning was kind of interesting too. Well, hypothetically spoken, since in real life, even if witchcraft may be real to some extent, it doesn't really work quite the way we saw in the movie.
No, it doesn't.
Uh, yeah, so the whole question about whether if you had such powers, whether you should use them or try to achieve your goals by normal means. I must say I could somewhat understand how she feels like being bored of never having to put any effort into anything she's doing, but I must say I was a little bit more on the father side in that conversation. If I was in such a situation, like if I was, to put it that way, overpowered, I would what I would probably want to do in such a situation would be like break the limits of the reality itself, try to make something that wasn't previously possible, kind of like what they did in the movie Ready Player One, which, okay, that was more about technology than supernatural. But you see, if I was in that situation, what I would want would definitely not be to downgrade myself, but to try to break free of the limits imposed by the world I live in. So yeah, I found that conversation interesting, and yeah, like I said, the father character was very interesting. Now, the first scene with Will Ferrell. I do have to admit the scenes with Nicole and those around her were much more interesting.
Is that your first thought of the first scene?
Well, if we were talking about the first scene in the supermarket, right, with Isabel and her father, and the first scene with Jack, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to that.
Okay, so anyways, they show them starting to try to cast Samantha, and of course there's a bunch of blondes there, and they all suck and they can't twitch their nose. Um, they don't suck because they can't twitch their nose; they just suck. um, and so, of course they can't find her, and then of course he's in a bookstore, and Samantha, or I'm sorry, Isabel is in the same bookstore, and they're on the opposite sides of each other, and of course she goes to pick up the book, and he sees her, and she twinkles her nose. Not sure why. They never explain why she did it at this particular moment, because that's not how she casts spells. She uses her ear. But so she does it, and he sees it. He's like, "Oh my God, this is incredible!" And then he looks again, and he's like, "Wow!" He's like in love with her nose. Like this is the perfect nose. Of course, at this point, he doesn't even know that she's a blonde or that she's anything that like what he needs. He just sees the nose, and the nose is perfect. Nose knows. So yeah, he follows her, and of course she notices, and of course she's not used to human, so she's not sure why he's following her. She's not worried about it. She's not worried that he's stalking her or anything. She's just kind of curious, And then of course the waitress, who uh, is not a fan of the actors, and think he's complete sucks, especially because of the last movie. Personally, from what they've shown in all his movies, I think he was just a shitty actor. Now, see, I like Will Ferrell acting, but the way he was super overacting in those films were overdoing it on purpose. there's a difference. Obviously, Dave, you don't get that, and that's you just don't. That's fine. Not everyone's comedies is everybody else's. Um, Many people do get it, and I know them. I'm probably not other fans. Not a big fan of his. I personally don't like overacting, but I like Will Ferrell because the way he makes fun of overacting. It's like Jim Carrey does too.
Jim Carrey is fine. I like his overacting, and
Jim Carrey is fucking awesome, and he's
I
one of the
think
best
he's
comedians of all time. But that's beside the point. Back to this one. He's still falling, and then he goes sit down, and the way he says, "Don't look," but Jack, I can't think of his last name, is looking at him. He goes, "Oh, I know." And then she says the name. Oh, who is it? Oh, you know him? He goes, "Yeah, where you been?" Like everyone knows him and blah blah blah. And then of course he comes over and introduces himself because even though he was hiding at first, he is a star, and stars like to show really out. They're not usually afraid to talk to a girl. Anyway, um, they expect you to swoon all over them. And like when he says who he is, and she goes, "I know." He goes, "I say thank you." Like she only knows because the waitress has told her, not to the fan. He just assumes the fan is really like, "Thank you," because he's a pop his house. But yeah, so she allows him to sit down, and the waitress says something snarky. I don't remember what it was, but it was pretty funny. She kind of reminded me of the girls and Two Broke Girls. Um, Snarky waitress and all. So yeah, too bad she didn't have more lines and more of a role. Like she became a friend or something because I liked her. She was fun. She was much better than that blonde bimbo that became the friend, in my opinion. But anyways, so he sits down and they talk, and he's like, "You need to come play Samantha." And he's like, "Oh no, I can't do that." And he starts telling her about being an actress and telling her about getting money and being famous, and then he says the worst thing he could possibly say. And some eventually reveals, "Snap your fingers to get me what." She immediately gets up and says, "No, no, no, I already have that. I'm trying to get away from it." And she runs off. And of course he chases her down and somehow convinces her to go ahead and audition for the part. Well, actually, he said you don't even have to audition. Just come in and show your nose thing. And of course, they do a little montage of her showing some people and a bunch more people and a bunch of more people, and everybody is ecstatic. And it's a great thing. So let's get you guys' opinion on the story so far.
well. You just had our two lead actors and actresses meet, correct? And he asked her to be on the show and stuff, right? So, as far as that meeting goes, it's okay. I mean, I do think that how they met in the library was kind of cute, where he saw her lips or move, you know, and he was trying to follow her a little bit, and then he followed her out, you know. But I do think it was kind of sweet how um, how her character was. You could tell that she was trying to be normal. She was um, she was attracted to him. You could see that. And I don't know. There was a sort of innocence about her, at least throughout the first half of the show. First half of the movie. And once she started, uh, actually working on the set of the show that he invited her to, is when you start seeing her kind of become more of a character, you know. So.
Well, yeah, she was becoming more normal, like a regular person, like a regular. Because in this story, I guess wishes live off on their own and they're not normal. They don't know the thing about being normal. They're human, but they're
Unfortunately,
not.
I don't think there is a such thing as normal.
There is. It's the opposite of me.
Well, it's definitely the opposite of me.
Oh, same here.
Oh, so normal is not you?
It's Tammy. Tammy's normal.
Tammy thinks she's normal.
So yeah, I told you that.
I
Really?
am normal.
That's a bad thing.
Yeah. I am normal too.
Yeah, okay. When it says "we're in the dictionary," there's a picture. Yeah, there's a picture of you.
Yeah, definitely.
Hi, I'm Boris. I'm the definition of weird.
Fair enough.
Yeah, the thing is, you're still in the Britannic dictionary. You know, that old school dictionary that used to be on computers. But in any case, not sure if you guys who are computer fans remember the Britannica or the Britannic dictionary or encyclopedia.
That was Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yeah.
Actually, I heard of that. Encyclopedia Britannica. Yeah,
Yeah,
it does look familiar.
I swear it had like maybe like 10 discs to the fucking thing, and it had like
You do know that it was books first, right?
Yeah, it was books first. I remember.
Just checking.
But it was so cool as like a program, and I don't know. I just remember a lot of like historical audio shit on it. So
If anybody is interested to learn about real witchcraft and witches, check this book out. It's called The Witch's Bible by the Furriers. It's a great read. Anyway, the more you know. Ding.
Sorry, could you please show it again?
Sure.
Oh, cool. A witch's Bible. Nice.
That says Janet and Stuart Farrar. Farrar. I read it probably, I don't know, a couple decades ago.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah. Great read. Loved it. Anyways, so Dave said a lot, but did you actually say anything about the movie?
who? Me?
Dave. The other Dave.
Oh.
Everybody thinks it's Dave today. Well, the real Dave, please stand up.
anyways,
Dave is your scapegoat.
No, I'm just cloned all the way around. That's
Oh God.
there's a little bit of me in everyone.
God help us.
Stop fooling around.
There's a little bit of me in you and you and you. Run.
Maybe her, but not us. Or at least not me.
But in any case, let us get back to the movie. So the movie, I don't know. Like I said, I liked all the scenes with Nicole Kidman in it. As far as the movie goes,
The library. We're talking about the library scene.
I liked how they were on either side, and they didn't know who the fuck they were, and then he suddenly noticed her twitch of the nose, and then when he was standing in front of her, when she actually did it, you know, it's like he fell in love with her twitch first.
Yes. That's what I said. He fell in love with her nose.
But I don't know. I guess I wish I liked Will Ferrell more, because if I liked him more, maybe I could see the romance on his part. I just don't see it in this movie to her. There is a moment where they are flirting with each other later on, and the cast members see that.
That's much later.
Yeah, that's much later, but that's about. I wish I could see the romance as being like a real thing, you know.
I take it this is the scene you were talking about you like since you wanted to put that in there.
There's not a whole lot that I can say about the movie at this point. So
okay, I'm just asking you to say about the scenes. Say what you have to say. If it's 2 seconds, well, Tammy does that too, so it's fine. You don't have a lot to say. You know, even when there's times I don't have nothing to say. There's times I'm completely quiet the whole movie just about discussion. Not often. That feels like last week. Or not last week, the week before. Tammy, your thoughts on the Meet Cute?
On the meeting?
Yeah, the Meet Cute.
Huh?
Yes, the Meet Cute.
Well, it was cute, I guess, but I don't know. I like her, and I like how she was, twitch her nose and all that stuff.
And she's kind of a ditz, and she doesn't realize when someone's being called a dick is.
That's later on.
So at this point, there really isn't much more to say than what I've said already. So got it. When we get to the other scenes, maybe there'll be more.
Okay. Now that's a typical Tammy answer. Forrest?
Well, I actually did find their first meeting kind of funny because it was like he was following her and all that, but then they just started to talk, and it was like she doesn't mind being stalked if it's by a famous actor. So that was kind of funny.
Well, she said to her father that she was looking for someone so hapless that they needed her.
Helpless.
Yeah.
A big mess, she said.
Yeah. And yeah, that part with twitching her nose, yeah, that was kind of funny too. But yeah, as Dave says, it was a little difficult to see chemistry between them. I do have to agree with that. Sorry, Crow.
Everyone's entitled to their wrong opinion. Yes.
So sorry. What did you say?
I said everybody is entitled to their wrong opinion.
It's different when there's imaginary chemistry.
Well, anyways, I like to point out, Boris, in this world, it's like she doesn't know how to be like a regular person. So she doesn't know he was stalking her. He was just following, and she was just intrigued by it, which is what I said when I was explaining the scene. And she didn't know he was famous. She had no idea who he was. The waitress said his name. He's like, "Oh, you know her?" And then the waitress is like, "Everybody knows him," and blah blah blah. Like, where you been? So she didn't know he was famous. She had no idea who he was.
Oh,
You know, she was
okay, I
not allowed to
forgot
watch
that.
Bewitched as a child, but for some reason she never watched movies either. So we don't know why because she never said that. Bewitched she wasn't allowed to watch because it was a total affront to their kind, even though it was exactly the same as theirs. But anyways, so yeah, I love the scene, and that's why I called it a meet cute because that's what they started calling it. I don't know, 90s. I don't know when that came out, but yeah. So that's the definition of a meet cute. It was a nice, cute little meeting between the two. He definitely kind of fell in love with her nose because he had been looking for a Samantha. So put that in context, it makes sense. Of course, then he sees her, and Nicole Kidman is awesome. I mean, she is just so gorgeous and beautiful, and she just has a perfect smile. Um, I like I said, I love Nicole Kidman, no matter what role she's in. But anyways, yeah. So he stalks her, and then of course he comes over and introduces himself and acts like the big movie star and offers her the role, and of course she turns it down, and then he tries to talk her into it, and then says something that makes her run away, and he finally does end up talking her into it. Um, and of course, part of it is because she seems to be infatuated with him right away. Like she just saw that big mess of a person in him right away. She didn't see this big movie star that he tries to portray. She saw a hot mess that she could fix and he needed, you know. And of course, when he said he needed her, that was the word she needed. That was the word she wanted to hear. You know, it's like saying "I love you" to a woman, and just because she wants to hear it, type thing. Um, He needed her because she was perfect for the role, and nobody knew who she was. So he thought that would be good for him, because because at this point he's still an asshole. He did start to fall for her though, or he did have feelings for her. You definitely could tell that at a moment when he's talking to his manager, how when he says, "Oh, we can use the fact that she likes you," and blah blah, and he kind of just looks like a little sorry for that because you can tell like he kind of likes her, but he's still a big douchebag. So he goes along with what the manager says, and like you know, I love how they're talking about it, and she's listening to the whole thing right behind them. They don't even know, and then they see her walk off, and like things hurt us, and he's like, "Oh no, of course not." This lying manager, because of course that's what he's going to say. Yeah. So, then we have, okay, she walks off and she's, she's not thinking of quitting or anything at this point. She's trying to figure what she can do. And she's so mad, and she's talking to, I don't know, it's not her agent. I don't know who that lesbian is, but I assume she's a lesbian. Um, she really doesn't like men, or at least she doesn't like, Will Ferrell's character. She wants to taser him and throw him in the shark tank. That's one of the other things she said. And she says everything so nonchalantly. It's pretty funny.
Well, her friend Marie was just a next door neighbor. That
I know who the blonde chick was. I don't know who the brunette was. The brunette worked with her.
I think she was. Oh, she was someone on the set. And
Yeah, I know, but who was she? If you're her assistant or something.
Yeah, like her personal
I
assistant.
thought it was like her manager first, but when she
No,
quit and they said they didn't have
but
a manager, so I was
I
like,
do
oh,
like how she is the first one who started to give her lines.
oh, I know afterwards. I remember. But anyways, yeah. So I mean, obviously she became friends with her right away, just like the neighbor, even if nobody asked her to. um, like I said, the neighbor is just annoying, but whatever. So they're together, like they're three pieces of odd. The three musketeers, female style, whatever, which is cool. She wanted her friends. She wanted to be normal. Girls have, well, okay, we already discussed this. Most girls don't have friends that are female. Some do, but anyways, um, so they're trying to figure out what to do, and then she's washing dishes and she sees the little bobbit of Samantha twinkle her nose, and she looks around and goes in the living room and poof, there goes Santa Claus down. Oh nope, not Santa Claus, not Clara. Smoke and all, ash on her face and everything, and. She, the woman who played this Aunt Clara, he definitely, again, great casting. Looks so much like her. I think the only one that doesn't really look like the person that's supposed to play is Will Ferrell. He does not look anything like either Darren. He's slightly more. He's about as tall as Dick Sargent was, but that's about it. So he did not look like Darren at all. But again, he was just playing an actor who they wanted to play Darren, I guess because they thought he had been a star once, because for some reason they liked the stupid movies he had made. I guess. But anyways, so they finally, she tells them she's a witch, and they don't believe her. And then she talks about hexing, and they don't believe her because hexing is not real. It's a spell, and they're not real. And of course, she puts a spell on the girl to, yes, let's do a hex. Next thing you know, all three of them are doing, four of them are doing a hex. Even though Isabel quit, she goes along with doing the ritual with her aunt. And if you ever watched the TV show, her aunt is a bumbling fool who always gets it wrong. Matter of fact, that's what the French says. Aunt Clara always messed it up. And she's like really like kind of like mad that it's said, even though she's exactly like the character.
I thought that she did really good as the character, and she actually took the time to actually watch the old reruns of
It shows.
the actual show,
It shows.
the shows,
Yeah.
and she actually fell in love with the characters too. You could tell that like it was like a new experience for her. Like
Wow.
everything was new to her in a sense because she'd only done things by the snap of a finger, So I liked that was the way her character was. Is that everything seemed new to her, like she was just a babe in the woods, you know. But anyone else?
You know what I mean?
I like basically the same thing as you did. I mean, she was her as how do you put it? How naive she was about everything was really made it fun, because she just, when her neighbor or whatever called dude a dick, she's like, "What? What's that?" And then later on, she goes, "Well, you're he's a male body part or whatever, because then they explained to her, but she was just so naive about everything that's what made it fun. Yeah, and then when she would learn things, it was like, it seemed like she got really excited about things that oh, okay, that's what that is. Oh, okay, that's what that is.
I mean, I don't think Elizabeth Montgomery's character was as stupidly blonde as she was, but she was stupid in a cute way, you know. Like even if she'd have acted that way in real life to us, I still think she actually seemed like she was a really cute person.
I don't think she was stupid. She was just naive. There's a difference. Yeah, I think Aunt Clara the woman who played Aunt Clara in this did an awesome, phenomenal job. Great research, just great job. Definitely felt like Aunt Clara. Um, Now, Tammy, I don't remember them ever having Samantha's dad on the show, or if they did, it had to be only like 1 or 2 episodes. Do you remember
If what?
ever having Samantha's dad on the show?
On the original show? No, um I remember the mom showing up and the sister
Well,
showing.
Mom showed up all the time, but we never saw her dad. So I guess they kind of did that the opposite in this movie, where her real mom never shows up, but her dad's in it,
Didn't
which
her
was
sister up all the time or mess things up? And then Clara would show up too on the original.
oh,
But
I
no, I
remember
don't
everybody
remember.
else, but like I said, I was just trying to remember if there was ever a dad, but because I didn't remember it.
I don't remember her dad either.
You know, one thing I think is really funny about I kind of skipped over, but the neighbor, when she meets the neighbor, she comes over and she's like, "Oh, I love Bewitched," and then she's like, "Oh, that's the one with the genie?" Which of course is you know, I love Genie, but and then she's going on and on how much she watches Bewitched all the time, and I'm like, "Yet you didn't know it wasn't about the genie?" Like she's such a dumb blonde. Like I just could not stand her.
Okay, so there was
What was the
there
dad?
was a father on the show.
Like 1 or 2 episodes or something.
Maurice Sevens. Yeah, it was Maurice. It was his name, and I guess he showed up on Bewitched. Let's see, trying to see what when he did.
Well, you look that up, and I'll continue on.
Yep.
So they end up doing the hex, and of course, just like in the TV show, Aunt Clara messes it up and completely overdoes it. So instead of him being nicer to her, he is completely and utterly infatuated with her, and the world revolves around her. So he comes in riding a bicycle for some reason, singing Isabel, Bobel, Mamel, whatever, and that whole song where you're making fun of people's names, adding to it, and he's saying how Samantha needs to be more role, needs more lines, and how not Samantha, but Isabel, Isabel this and Isabel that, and she comes in and he's just
Okay.
like all over her, and
So
she's
her
like,
father only shows up on 12 episodes.
oh, more than I thought.
Between 1964 and 1971. So those are the years that some of the years that the original Darren was on. So
You mean the father?
the father is played by Maurice Evans, and his actual name on the show was Maurice. Kind of original.
All right.
Sometimes they call him Maurice.
They come a gangster in love. Anyways, so she realizes that the spell has gone wrong, and she still kind of goes with it at first, and then he's like, let's go out. She's like, no, 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 and then he's like, oh, it's not a date. I'll just have him to come by and I'll pick you up at 8. And he won't take a no for the answer, and he's so excited, and she's like, another date, and then you can tell she's nervous, trying to get dressed, and 'cause she really did like him, you know. But of course, he did her wrong, so she was mad. And of course, he comes to the door, and he's like, "Oh, I just happened to come by with roses, yellow roses, which means friendship, and chocolates, and a bracelet." Again, overdoing it, I think, but of course, she doesn't know that he's overdoing it. She's just delighted with all the attention and stuff. So they go to a dinner, and they have an awesome dinner, and after the dinner, and they go back to the house, and they're about to kiss, and she's like, "We're about to kiss, aren't we?" And he's like, "Well, we were, Miss Narrator," and she laughs, and she thinks it's really funny, and yeah, because love is deaf and blind. Anyways, but they don't really kiss there. But then she realizes that she can't do this. She has to change this. She's gonna rewind everything that happened, and so that's what they did. They rewound and undid everything that had happened back to the day him coming in riding his bike after he had claimed that he taught Isabel how to twinkle her nose, because apparently he can do it. It's pretty cool that Will Ferrell can do the nose switch too. It's a skill that I can never do. Anyways, so yeah, what do we think about that? Now we're last stage where he's probably playing a video game and not paying attention to the podcast anymore because he has his camera off.
Oh, so that's what it means when Dave's camera is off.
That's what I figure it means.
No.
And now he's going to deny it because,
I'm really not playing the game. Well, any game.
Okay, well, thoughts?
As far as what again?
What?
The part where Will Ferrell was actually playing a game.
No.
Dave, what were you paying attention to?
I was trying to look up something, and I thought you said something about Will Ferrell playing a game or something like that.
No, we said, Crow said that when you turn your camera off, it's because you are playing some game and not paying attention to the discussion.
No, I was actually still looking up information on Maurice. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we already didn't hear everything we needed to know.
But
I was talking about how talking about the hex and how they put the hex on him and how it acted, and then we got to the point of where she reversed the hex, and I was just wondering opinions on it.
Oh, okay. I thought it was kind of cute when Aunt Clara came in and they were talking about the hex and all that jazz. I liked her as a character, whoever played Aunt Clara, because she told her right away, "Hey, don't tell them that you're a witch. Don't let them know that you're a witch." And as soon as she sits
No,
down,
she said they don't know I'm a witch. So she said, "Oh, it's like she agreed to not say anything about her being a witch. She never agreed to not say anything about her being a witch. That's the first thing she does."
yeah, she sits down and says, "Well, I am a witch."
Oh, that's funny. Samantha has an Aunt Clara too on the show. She's a witch. Oh, that's fine. I'm a witch. I'm a real witch. And they all laugh. She's joking.
But I thought the dinner where she keeps having them say shit.
That we are not up to yet.
Okay, but I thought that was during the hex.
No. That was when Samantha cursed him while she was there at the time.
Okay, so who actually enacts the hex? It was Aunt Clara who did,
Aunt
right?
Clara,
Yeah.
Isabel, and the two girls.
Okay, because I thought it was only Aunt Clara who did.
No, they had a ritual with the four of them.
Okay.
Well, Aunt Clara was running it, so it was her control over the magic. So when it messed up, it messed up basically because she poured the whole bottle of what looked like salt, wherever that was. She was supposed to only put a pinch in or whatever, and she poured the whole thing in. So that's what made it magnify.
That was a spudao.
Yes.
And wasn't it Will Ferrell who came in and gave everyone cappuccinos like the next morning?
Yes, he had to come in and after singing Isabel song.
All
He said,
cappuccinos are
"Take
free.
take that sign off. Cappuccinos for everyone."
And that's when he was starting to say that she should have more lines or whatnot.
Yes.
And I also think that's when the cast members came up and told him that she actually got 99% like voting, and he got like 32%. And it wasn't until like
The
later.
dog got more than her. More than him.
Yeah, the
And
dog.
he's like,
Yeah,
well,
the
the
dog
dog
got.
ate too.
Because by that point, the dog scene where the dog had actually jumped up into her lap had actually happened.
Well, not her lap, she was standing up. Her arms. And she had the great line that her assistant, or whoever she was, gave to her, because she said, "If the dog comes to you again, say this." And when she got there, he's like, "I'm just glad you didn't have a great Bernard," which was a funny line. I enjoyed it. And Will Ferrell
The
is just
dog
like
was
character
cute.
is just kind of like what the fuck? She's getting all the laughs and she's not supposed to have any lines.
Okay. And it wasn't until after the hex was gone that suddenly he started to realize 32%, and she's like right behind him.
Yeah, when he really realizes it, she's like, shit. But before that, she's like, I'm just gonna tell him how I feel and blah blah blah, because she still had to deal with what he had said, the betrayal, because she decided to rewind everything, and get rid of the hex, but she still had to deal with it, and she's gonna go deal with it, and she's there, and he comes in acting like the normal Jack, singing a song about himself and telling them to get him 20 cappuccinos and give him the best one, and just being a real jackass. Um, and she comes in, and then they tell him, he's like, oh, how good I do. 101, 190, 101, 110, 150, 120. And I'm like, 33, 32. The dog did better than me. He's like freaking out. He goes, oh, they must have massacred her. And he looks at Isabel, and she got a 99. And he flips the fuck out on that. And she's like standing there taking his abuse. And he's going off on and on and on. And finally, she's like, I have something to say. And he's just going on, I have something to say. And he's going on. And finally, she yells it, I have something to say. And he's like, say it. And then she just goes off on him, telling all this shit, just tells him like it is, You're just being a complete asshole. The show is supposed to be about, the show's about marriage, supposed to be about us and the whole cast. And you're making everything about you, about your problems. And, just they told him
Well,
everything.
yeah, I kept saying the show wasn't about Darren. It was
It was
more about.
absolutely great. That scene, that was one of my favorite scenes right there. And then the little weasel, like, you're fired, and she's like, you can't fire me because I quit. And she walked off, and she grabs all her stuff, and she's walking away, and he's chasing after her, and he gets in a golf cart, and he chases her down, and she's still walking away. And finally, he convinces her to come back, and she's like, well, I can't go back in there now. And he's like, come in with a golf cart. No one can do wrong when you come back in a golf cart. And we just lost Boris. She goes back, and it's this is where he starts to really fall for her. After he called, she yells at him and calls him out on his shit. He actually likes it. He realizes that all she's had is yes men around him. No one telling him how he's really like. No one straightening his act up at all. And he actually becomes more of a decent person. And he's like falls head over heels in love with her. And it's kind of cute, I think. And of course, she's always had a little crush on him. So her feelings just developed more. And then, of course, we had the scene where they're supposed to kiss in bed, and they're kissing, and they're like cut, and they're still kissing, and the audience likes it, and they're like cut, and they're still kissing, the audience still likes it, and then of course they start cuddling, and they're like cut, and so that was kind of really cute how they want to stop kissing and making out and stuff. So be damned if there was a bunch of people watching them or not. Which I thought was really cool. And then of course the ex-girlfriend comes in. Kind of like an episode of Bewitched, which I don't remember that episode where Darren's ex invites him over, and of course Samantha does all kinds of things to her. Again, I don't remember this episode. Probably saw it, but I just don't remember it. So she ends up doing stuff to her. Well, first she drops off the lamps on her and kills her, and she realizes that's a little extreme. And rewinds it. And
I'm sure many divorced couples wanted that shit to fucking happen in their life. Like like if divorce was that easy.
Well, then she's like, no, I want you back, and he's all like, I would have felt that shit a week ago, but not anymore. There's someone new, and she's always like, he's like, oh wait a minute, you found out the movie, the show is being picked up, and she doesn't admit it, but she's like, but that don't matter. I want you, baby. And he's like, no, and of course Isabel's just really getting mad, so she does another spell on her, and she's always like, no. I'm not. I don't want you back. I'm going to give you a divorce right now, And then she starts walking away, and then Samantha does another one. And I'm going to and I'm gonna move out of the house, and you can have it back. And then does the other thing, and I'm moving to what did she say? Not Czechoslovakia, somewhere else that's in Iceland, Slovenia maybe. I don't know.
Uh, uh,
And she's like, I don't even know where it is, and he
Iceland.
says,
Yeah, she sent her to Iceland, to Reykjavik, if I
yeah,
pronounced
that's
that
it.
correctly.
Yeah, and then he's like, it's in Iceland. And she's like, I love ice. And he walks away, and he's just like looking like, the hell just happened? And he's happy as hell, but he doesn't know what happened. He's like, I got my house back, party at my house. So there's a big party there, and then he starts, does a speech about telling the truth and everything. He's like, everybody tells the truth from now on. Unless if I look bad, go ahead and tell me I look good. No one laughs about that. Um, and then she's starting to feel guilty that she needs to tell him the truth. And of course, the father's like, calls her on her shit about the ex girlfriend, and uh, then tells her not to tell him the truth. It's not going to work out. It's not going to go the way she thinks. And of course, she also tells him not to date the actress who plays the mother. And I guess he fell for the original Andorra, so it makes sense that he falls for the one that's playing the Andorra, who actually is a real witch. Only doesn't know it.
Well, yeah, and she noticed early on that Isabel was in fact a magical person because she saw her twitch her ear when the dog jumped into her arm.
Oh yeah. Of course, Samantha thought she was talking to her about, being an actress, that she was getting nervous or something. Like she didn't realize that she had been a witch and was letting her in on it. Like I don't think Isabel never found out she was a witch on the movie. Everybody else did. Well, yeah, everybody else did. Even Darwin found out by his own imagination, by Uncle Arthur. But yeah. So anyways, she ends up finally ends up just telling him, and he's like, "Oh, I don't believe you." And he's like, "Can you prove it?" Okay, I'll play along. Prove it to me. And she puts a mustache on the slimy guy. He's like, "That's amazing! Oh, that's great!" And he's like, "Oh my God, how'd you do that?" And then she does something else, and he's like, "Oh my God, I didn't know you were a minor magician or something." And she's getting mad. She's trying to tell him the truth, but he's not listening. And she's like, what's she calling him? I forget what she called him. And she kind of walks off, and then he follows her, and then they're yelling some more, and then she pulls the broom out, and he's all, oh, you're kind of crazy. Who cares all box on the broom around? He's like holding it. He's like, look at the buttons. I don't even see the buttons. It looks real. It's like, it is real. And then he's like, I'll show you. Then they come up. Mater D, or not Mater D, the guy who parks the cars, said, I will get the car. And she's like, don't bother, I sent it home. And he still goes off to look for the car. And she's like, all of a sudden he's like, of course it really flies and all. She's like, you want to see how it works?
Sorry, I have a question about that scene.
Go ahead.
How did this Uncle Arthur character appear in Jack's real life? Like, at first I thought it
We're
was...
not up to that scene yet.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were already talking about the scene of driving when Arthur was driving
No, we're talking
the
about the
car.
scene where he was holding the broomstick, and I was supposed to say that she made the broomstick fly with him holding on to it, and he's like, "Put me down," and she does, and he freaks out. And then grabs
car.
and then grabs the stick, the tree branch, and he's like, "Shoot, shoot!" And she's like, "Shoot!" And he's like, now you're making me first, he was just hurting her feelings. Now she's making her mad. You don't ever want to make a witch mad. And of course, he keeps saying things and made her even madder. And finally, she's like, just go. And she's like, fine. I love this scene too. She grabs the broom and she flies off in it, and she does like a turnaround, and she flies and makes him duck for cover, and then flies off. And the, uh, the car boy comes back. He's like, can't find your car, and he's just like, he doesn't even respond. He's like, doesn't even care. He's so like lost because she left, and even though he was completely scared, he still completely feels lost because he still loved her, and he just kind of like walks off with his head down, like, what the heck just happened, kind of thing. Um, you know, and he took her very badly, And then we have these montages of him going back to work, and they said she quit, and they're gonna have to get a replacement. And then we had more horrible additions, and supposedly they got a replacement, but they never actually showed who they got or showed her or anything. And then of course we see Samantha sitting in bed instead of eating ice cream, she was eating Cool Whip, and she's watching something and we're talking about him. And
Yeah,
she
Tammy was
says,
wondering why she was buying all that Cool Whip in
I don't
the
remember her buying all that Cool Whip.
Yeah, she bought like 6 damn containers, and then when she was crying about losing him, she was just eating the fucking Cool Whip out of the
Yeah,
container, just eating it. I mean, when I'm making stuff with Cool Whip and there's still some in there, that's fine. Grab that little bit, but I wouldn't just sit there and eat a whole fucking thing of the Cool Whip, man.
yeah,
Now, I did
that's
like
it.
this little
It's usually a
montage.
pint of ice cream they show girls eating, but instead she was eating a container of Cool Whip.
I did like this little montage of uh, her seeing him in everything that she was watching.
Yep, that's what I was just about to say. And the song that was playing is great too. Everybody hurts sometime. Um, yeah, so I really thought that song was perfect. We'll get into music later. On how do we do music? But yeah, just wanted to point out the song for this little montage was really good. And then of course she finally decides she's gonna go home. Of course, she doesn't know where home is. She has no idea, but she's gonna leave. And this is where he has the scene with Uncle Arthur, who he looks in the mirror and there's Uncle Arthur, and he's like, "You're gonna crack the mirror, aren't you?" He's like, "Oh, I don't do that. You watch too much TV and blah blah." And of course, he cracks the mirror, scares him, and he comes out, and he basically starts telling him how much Smith does love him, and he's kind of been a fool and all this other stuff. And he does explain to him how he sees him. He says to him, because he asks, "How are you here?" And he goes, "I'm here because when you fall in love with a witch, weird stuff happens." That was the explanation for us. Hello?
Boris, are you there?
I think he's frozen.
I think he's frozen.
I guess I'll have to tell him again when he gets back. Of course, he has to freeze up when he answers his question.
He'll be back.
I know. Well, anything else about these scenes, Tammy or Dave, while we wait for them, so I can just retell them what I said.
Well, I'll tell you something. Steve Carell, like before Bruce Almighty, I was not a fan of either.
Yeah.
But then when he became Evan Almighty, that's when I actually started liking him as an actor, and I think this was maybe before the 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah, it was.
So I actually loved his a version of Uncle Arthur in here.
Me too. Welcome
Sorry.
back.
Thanks. Sorry, I had internet connection issues. So if you maybe answered my question, I didn't hear it.
I did answer your question, and we waited for you to get back so I could say it again. But Dave was
Oh,
in the middle of saying what he thought about Uncle Arthur. So
oh, okay. Sorry.
Not a
You
problem.
can.
Uncle Arthur, that was great. That was a great performance by Steve Carell. I think I didn't even realize that he could do uh, that character, and I've heard that, and he's almost as annoying as um, Gilbert Gottfried or Gomer Pyle. You know,
no,
he, he's
Guilford Godfrey is. I like Guilford Godfrey as a parrot. Most things I don't know. He's all right. He can be very annoying. As a parrot in Aladdin, I loved him.
I
Just as
did.
a parrot, it was perfect for his
Yes.
voice. Even my mother agreed she couldn't stand him either. But yeah, I don't know. I had mixed feelings about him. I never had any Gomer Pyle. I wasn't a big fan, but I never had anything against him. So I disagree, and I love Steve Carell. Like I said, the first thing I ever saw him in, the only thing I saw him in until Evan Almighty or some other things, whatever it was, until I started liking him, was Bruce Almighty, and his character sucked, and I just didn't like him. But again, the character he was playing, he was probably just acting really good in that role, playing a dickhead kind of, you know. Um, and that's just the way it works. So he was just really doing a good job, and I just didn't realize it at first. But anyways, yeah, I 100% agree. He was awesome as Uncle Arthur. And honestly, I didn't realize it was Steve Carell at first. He looked so much like Uncle Arthur, and I'm like, well, it definitely ain't the original guy, but holy shit, he looked so much like him that I didn't even realize it was Steve Carell. So yeah. Any thoughts, Tammy, on Uncle Arthur?
I think he did good. He was funny. He was very much like the original. I got a kick out of him.
And Boris, go ahead and say what your thoughts, and then I'll go back.
Well, I did think the scene was pretty funny. Now I didn't watch the original show, so I don't know what the original character was like. But the one thing that left me kind of confused was when he first appeared and cracked the mirror and all that. At first, I thought it was just Jack's imagination, but then he drove his car and all that, which left me wondering how he actually appeared in that world if it was not just Jack's imagination.
Because he was a character from Jack's imagination, but he really showed up, you know.
But
And once
what?
you start dating a witch,
No, he
things
said when you
get
fall
better.
in love with a witch, these weird things happen. That was the
Okay.
explanation given. You got that, Boris?
Uh, to an extent, I guess.
Okay, so Jack actually asked him. He's like, "How are you here?" And he's like, when you fall in love with a witch, weird things have to happen. He's just like, that's just a weird answer. He didn't get it. And of course, he goes to drive. And he's like, you can't drive. Remember that episode with, the driveway? And he's like, oh, that was me. That was the TV show. And then he
uh,
starts driving like a
y-
maniac.
y-
And
y-
one particular part I loved was, I don't believe it. I'm gonna get killed by a fictional character. And Steve Carell's like, well, chuckles and says, yeah, you are.
yeah, but still, how is it possible that something paranormal happens if it wasn't some
Well, in the
particular?
story, if you love a witch, weird things happen. That's
Yeah,
just the explanation.
but still, doesn't it take a particular witch to do something intentionally for
It's just
something like
saying
this?
that weird things happen if you love a witch.
Yeah, so whatever
Uh,
Like
weird
it just happens.
it's
Like it's the universe
because
does it.
it's because he's in love with her. Weird shit is happening.
Yes,
so that's all.
that's all.
Ah, uh,
It was
my
Some
kind
the
of I think it
some
was a
people
funny
believe love
explanation.
is a powerful thing, and being in love with a witch, well,
my theory was
Hit him,
that
Tammy.
my theory was that Uncle Arthur was actually Isabel's father, taking that form in order to bring them back together.
No, there's no theory behind it. They explained it. It was just because weird things happen. That's all. They were the movie's funny, and that was just another funny thing they added to the movie. They explained how he showed up. They never explained how Aunt Clara shows up, but and looks exactly like the original Aunt Clara. But they explained this, and I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I did find it funny about Aunt Clara that, from what I understood, there is a character with that name on the original
Yes,
show,
and she
but
looks just like her, and the actress acted just like her. Like she did an awesome job. We discussed
yeah, like
before.
in this movie, she is actually the aunt, not of the character Samantha, but of Isabel, of the
Isabel's,
actress who,
yeah,
yeah.
Isabel's Aunt Clara, yeah, but she's still Aunt Clara. She was in the show, and she was always messing things up, like the assistant said on the show. Aunt Clara's always messing things up. It's
Yeah.
hilarious. But anyways, so he doesn't get killed by the animated, and then they show up. They start following Samantha. She's flying away on her broomstick, and then I guess she decides to go back to the only place that kind of felt like home to her, the studio house, which kind of feels sad. That the only home she feels is a fake house on a studio. Um, but anyways, he rushes in and she's sitting on the steps of the house and she sees him and she's like kind of happy to see him, even though all that's happened. And he rushes over and she's just like, "But I'm leaving," and he's like, "But if you go, you'll be gone and you can't return for 100 years." And she's like, "Who told you that?" Like, obviously that wasn't true. Oh, his Uncle Arthur and his antics, because he would say crazy stuff like that on the TV show. Like he'd always tell you something crazy that isn't true. So yeah. And anyways, she's like, "Well, I'm leaving and to go home," and he's like, "I'm your home," and basically he gets her back, and then they finally kiss and for real, and not just because on the show they're kissing or anything else. That they're actually kissing and he just loves her and I feel like Jack is going to be a much better person with her. And I feel like once he realizes that he needs her and that he loves her and that she's the best thing that happened to him, he's going to be a much better person. Like when he really fell in love with her, he was coming in being a whole nicer person, a whole decent person. Love can change you for a good way. And even if you lose that love, sometimes the love changed you and you never go back to the horrible person you were before. So love, even lost, can would be a good thing. But yeah, so in this, I would actually like to see a sequel. It probably won't happen because unfortunately, a lot of people did not like the movie, and I don't think it did too well. But I would like to see a sequel and actually have a Tabitha cast. 'Cause like I said, I loved Tabitha, and I can't remember the little brother, um, but those were cute too. When she had a little brother as well, which I can't remember his name. But it was kind of funny. Tabitha was always up to no good. And all of a sudden, she got a little brother, and she had to play the older sister. That even though she was still little, they had to stop her little brother from getting into all kinds of mischief with magic, because both of them were witches. So it's just really a really cute thing they added to the show afterwards. I'm not sure which season Tabitha came into it, but yeah, I would really like to see that happen, or even like a reboot of the show. But I don't know, just something classy where they don't make fun of the show, but just something good. I don't know. I love that, and I Dream of Jeannie. So who knows if they do it good? I mean, I like reboots sometimes. Lots of times I do, but not always. Definitely not always. Well, reboots, remakes, whatever. Um, uh, so I think that's pretty much the movie. Did I miss anything?
As far as I can remember, I don't think so. But if they or Tammy can think of anything,
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, I probably did miss something here and there, but yeah. All right, so I guess we'll move on. If anybody have anything to say about the final act?
Oh, I did kind of like that final thing where the tree was growing in the yard,
oh,
and the neighbor lady was like, Abner.
Yeah, she was just like the neighbor from the TV show,
Yeah,
and
and
he was like the guy. I know that guy that played him, and he did a good role for just sitting there and reading the paper, just like Abner always did in the show too. I think eventually he finally lifted up the window a few times, but he never saw anything and thought his wife was just nuts.
Oh, we forgot to say how cute the cat was in the whole movie.
Yeah.
oh yeah, the cat
I love
and
how
the
the cat
dog
opens the
too.
door at the end too, where because she doesn't make a little kitty door for the cat, and the cat like can't get in. Then he pushes the door open.
Yep.
For some reason, I kept thinking when I first saw it that the cat was going to turn into the mother or something.
I thought the cat was gonna turn into somebody too, but
I thought it was
no.
going to be her mother or
Uh,
something.
and I thought the cat was going to talk.
Like Salem.
Yeah.
But anyways, Tammy, Philip, anything to say about the final act?
Well, I'm not familiar with the TV show, so I didn't get the reference, unfortunately. But it was still funny how she saw all that, and the husband didn't believe it, and she eventually passed out. That was funny.
well, I love it when there's always a nosy neighbor that will not quit from watching like shit across the hall for some reason.
Yeah, and that's exactly how she was in the TV show. Every episode just about. There's actually episodes where they eat dinner with each other too, and, and Edna's just like completely like crazed the whole time. It's funny. It's absolutely funny. They did something kind of similar in WandaVision, where she got a neighbor that kept popping by every time Wanda wanted to do some magic, and she didn't want to do it in front of her, kind of thing. So they and I love the fact that they started WandaVision in black and white. Now, again, you know how I feel about black and white, but the original Bewitched was in black and white, and it was a great show. Okay, that didn't bother me. Well, they didn't have color then, so it didn't bother me. And now if they did reboot the show, no, I guess I probably would rather it be color. But if they did black and white, I wouldn't hate it because WandaVision was actually great in black and white, and the way they did it in black and white, there was a reason they did it in black and white, and then when it became color, there was a reason it became color too. And they kind of like the difference between Kansas and Oz. They kind of did something similar. At least there was a reason for the black and white and then the color, so which I absolutely loved. But I compared WandaVision to Bewitched. I said it's like Bewitched meets Dick Van Dyke Show. Yeah. Anyways, it was great. It was absolutely great. You guys should check it out. If you haven't seen it, uh, definitely highly recommend WandaVision. But as I feel about the final scene, um, the whole final scene, him getting driven by meeting Uncle Arthur, and Uncle Arthur was just absolutely hilarious. Being driven crazily to the studio, being chasing Samantha on the broomstick and going to the studio, and him rushing in and her just sitting there, and it was just so romantic. And he ended up getting her, and you realize that he's just so much better with her, and of course he's exactly what she needed, what she wanted. She wanted a mess, and he was a hot mess. And much as he thought he was a big star, he was a hot mess. And of course she didn't give shit about money or fame or any of that stuff. Matter of fact, she didn't want to snap her fingers and get what she wanted, because she already could do that. She was giving that up. But she's all like, just like one of those people that's stuck between two worlds. I want to be normal, but I can't because I'm a witch, and I can't be a witch because I want to be normal. And he's just like, and of course he doesn't tell her, because when he says there's many people, it's like, who, and then he says, well, at least one. I thought he was going to say the other actress, because he was told that she was a witch, but he didn't. Instead, he says Samantha. He goes back to the TV show, and she says, "You're right." And then she thinks about it, and I guess that got through to her. And it was very thoughtful of him to do that. And like I said, it was kind of romantic, and I like that sort of thing. So they get together, and of course they end up moving into the house that is basically the bewitched house. And they end up moving across the street from the neighbors that were the neighbors in the BBC show. Of course, not the same actors, because again, they're probably passed away. If not, they're like 100, because they were old when the show was on in the late 60s, early 70s. So yeah. Anyways, so yeah, that's my thoughts. So let's go ahead and go into production. Dave, what do you think about production?
I thought the production was actually pretty good. As far as production goes, I mean, like you said, this was not a reimagining of Bewitched. It was a reimagining of what if Bewitched was actually
Reimagine
made.
or rebooted, whatever.
Which I do like that idea and concept. And if they,
Well, it wasn't
if the writers
reimagined.
had
The
gone
only, the
more
only character that would have been different was Darren. Everything else was pretty much the same. So I wouldn't call it. I'd call it a reboot, not a reimagining.
Yeah, I wouldn't exactly call this a
Or a remake.
Either. It's kind of like a reboot reimagining.
No, it's more like a reboot remake.
It's kind of a reboot because you got similar characters, so it's kind of like in between to me.
I think for me, reimagining is when they kind of change up most of the storyline, and maybe keep some of the characters but change most of the storyline. And that's not what this was. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about what a reimagining is. This is what I imagined it was. I get confused with the reboot and the remake.
I guess I'm in the middle on whether this was a reimagining or a reboot, just because the only thing that's different is the names of the characters, the main characters.
Well, right, but that's only because she ends up playing the part of Samantha, who's in it. Samantha's in it because
Yeah,
they're doing the
she
TV show.
is actually a witch.
Yeah.
She's
And he's
branded.
Jack, but he plays Darren. That's why I said it's a twist on it, so it's not really a reboot or a remake. Really, it's just kind of a twist.
A little bit, but it's still
I
kind
don't
of.
think it's a reimagining at all. But
Regardless, I thought the sets were pretty good. I thought you know, the way that they made you feel like you were on a set was pretty good. I thought the supermarket, and I'll go into this in detail in the. I think. Oh, why not? I'll say my favorite scene right now.
we're
Favorite
not doing favorite scenes yet.
in any case.
Let everybody say their what they think about the production, and then we'll do favorite scenes, and you can start.
Okay. But I thought production was pretty good. I thought that the ending and although I think that the way that they made her fly on a broomstick was a little bit too fast. Like I wish they would have slowed it down just a little bit so that they could see her a little bit more.
I think that my opinion on that. Actually, I loved that scene. The scenes where she's flying. But I think production-wise, that might have been too expensive to show her flying. The way they did it was a lot cheaper, and they did a great job to make it look like she was actually flying. And they probably did it a hell of a lot cheaper than they would have if they actually had shown her flying. So that's my opinion on it. On that one thing on the production. But is that all you had to say on production?
I think so. I mean,
Tammy?
I thought the production was pretty decent. I mean, you know, when she did things, you know, it didn't seem like it seemed kind of like the original show, you know, when she would only she didn't twitch her nose like in the original show. Her thing was her ear, you know, but like in the original show when things would happen, you know, it seemed similar, like they used the same kind of camera tricks or whatever to make things happen, you know.
yeah,
You know,
like when she was telling her father in the cafe that she was going to quit snapping her fingers and everything, and yet they said something about not being able to serve breakfast after 11. She snapped her fingers and uh, it went back before 11 so that she could have her breakfast.
right? I mean, like I said, you know, the things that she made happen as a witch, I think was cute how they did it and everything.
That was the other thing she did that I forgot, because I thought she did something else, but I forgot. She turned the clock back. And what was it with that weird restaurant where she's toasting a bunch of toast on her
I think
table?
she just was having fun toasting toast. That's all.
But what kind of cafe has a toaster on their table?
One in a movie. But
Is
anyways,
that something around you guys?
this production, they did a good job with that, with those, with all the little things that they made her do. You know, all of her little tricks and everything. So I think they did a good job with that. It didn't look like overly like CGI'd or any of that junk. It was fun, you know, just
And it
like
was
in the
believable.
just like in the original show, you know, when Samantha would do stuff in the original show, you know, it was
And
fun.
I do like how they did show some of that behind the scenes movie magic, where they
Some of us don't have the DVD, so we didn't see that.
the behind the scenes part that they show where It's not really a behind the scenes. It's a scene in the movie where where he's playing Darren, and they pause it to put a drink in his hand to make it look
Oh
like
yeah,
here.
like she made it, like she made the drink appear. Yeah,
Yes.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that was
when
fun.
Endora made the drink appear. Yeah,
And he goes, ah, and he drops it. And she's like, too bad he didn't drink you. It would have turned into a bullfrog, I think.
right. I mean, yeah, it was, yeah. The production I thought was good. It was, and it made it very entertaining.
Nice. And is that it for production?
Yes.
Boris?
I also thought the production was pretty good. All the effects whenever Isabel was doing any witch stuff, it was all pretty well done. Uh, the only thing that kind of drew my attention as a probable mistake was when they were shooting the TV show, and there was this moment of this old lady who played in Dora when she was. Okay, when she appeared in smoke, which is something you can theoretically do on the set as a magic trick or something, but then
That's how
when
Endora, not to interrupt you, but
Always appears.
that's how she always appeared in the TV
uh,
show.
okay, yeah, that's fine, but then when she disappeared, she just abruptly disappeared. Like one moment she's there, and in the next moment she's not there, and that's
That's
something
how it was
that
in the show.
Yeah, that's how the
uh,
show was.
yeah, maybe, but what I was trying to say is that's not something that can happen on the set of making a TV show. It's something you do in the video editing later, not on the set.
Right.
Actually, it's
Mm.
actually something that can be done practical wise.
Yeah,
On
they just have more money than
they
Dave
didn't
does.
have like the ways that they do now in editing. A lot of that was done where like a puff of smoke was actually coming out of a smoke machine.
Uh, yeah, but that's the point. When she was disappearing, there was no smoke at all. It was just like one moment she's there, and in the next moment she's not
Because she
there. There
swoops
was
in
no
with smoke
smoke.
and then just disappears.
See, that's when they just stop the camera and she goes off set, and then they roll tape again. That's all they had to
Uh,
do.
y- yeah, that's what. Yeah, but we didn't see it done
No,
that
we
way
didn't
as
see
far
it
as.
that way, but we saw it that way done with the drink. So what?
Ah.
So I mean,
Uh,
to make someone disappear, although some of that I imagine was done in the editing room.
yeah, that's what I would have expected.
A lot happens in the editing room. I swear I never realized it until I started making videos. And it's like I make these short videos and I can make 5 to 10 short videos in under 10 minutes. But then it sometimes takes me over an hour to edit one certain video that's like 7 seconds long. It's ridiculous.
I know the feeling.
Oh my god, I'm like, I gotta find a way to do this faster because this is just getting ridiculous. Of course, part of it I do get distracted with things and everything, and so that's part of it. But then I post, and it's like I gotta find these hashtags. I gotta do 5 hashtags for TikTok. I gotta do 15 hashtags for YouTube. I gotta do 2 hashtags for Facebook, which is stupidly low, and I gotta do like 30, 20 something to 30 hashtags for Instagram. And I don't really post on the other ones, but I could, and if I did, I'd have to find more hashtags as well as a good title. Title is everything, especially on YouTube. Title is the main hook. If people don't like the title, they're not going to watch your video. So nothing else matters in your video if your title doesn't hook them. So your title has to hook them, and then the first few seconds of the video has to hook them, and then you have to show the value, and then you have to have a call to action. So there's four things. It's just not sorry to go in on a tangent on that, but I don't know. Since we're talking about production, I just wanted to put my 2 cents in on my idea of editing
I
and how
agree.
much of a pain in the neck it is now.
You have to make your video titles appetizing to the general public if you want people to watch it.
Yep.
It's called keyword. So
Yep. SEO. Yep. Yep.
and oftentimes, sometimes you can actually take certain subjects in your YouTube videos to attract other people when they're searching for specific things. If you have something in your a title that you tag, they'll
Well,
look
yeah,
to
title,
see
but
that video.
also that's a lot what hashtags are for too. I guess YouTube has tags as well. They don't really get used anymore. They were huge when YouTube came out, and they were like the big thing, tags. But I guess the tags are really out of fashion now. So I never use the regular tags, but I use the hashtags. For a long time, I didn't realize it was 15. So I used about seven, usually 5 to 7 on everything. On every social media, I was using between 5 to 7. Then I went and looked it up, like what's the optimal amount, and that's how I found out that the optimal amount for YouTube is 15 and 5 for Instagram, 2 for Facebook, which I think is way too low, and then between up to 30 on Instagram, which is a ton. I always thought the hashtag thing came from TikTok, but it must have came from Instagram. Um, because
Actually, I think I saw it on Twitter
Yep,
first.
I saw it on Twitter first too.
so it was Twitter. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't really know. All I know is someone said hashtag. I'm like, that's not this hashtag thing. That's number sign.
Uh,
Like to me, it's always been the number sign. Like, what's this hashtag thing people are talking about? So I didn't get it at first. Um, but yes, now I use them. But anyways, the production of this, my opinion, yeah, they actually didn't overdo anything. They went back to the original. And considering the original was done in the late 60s, early 70s, it was fucking phenomenal. You couldn't see lines, you couldn't see wires, you couldn't see flaws in the damn show. Like everything they did in the show to make it look like she was casting magic was perfect. I mean, it really made you sit there and believe that Samantha could cast magic. It was great. I mean, it helped I was a kid when I watched it, but still, even as an adult, you may know that magic exists, but not like that. You could still get lost in the story and believe in this. She does magic, and it's great. It's just like I Dream of Jeannie as well. Um, those two shows go hand in hand to me, even though they have nothing to do with each other, not related or anything. They just they have a lot in common, and they're both great shows. But anyways, I love the production. I thought it was great. They updated a little bit for like the studio part because they're a studio remaking the TV show. So they had some updated stuff that they should have some updated stuff. Like her car, and everything else. I loved how the car disappeared in the garage and everything else, and just it was really good. It really felt like they were doing a movie that they were rebooting the TV show. They did actually a really, really great job of convincing me that's what they were doing. And I thought everyone did an awesome job. And yeah, Jack was annoying, obnoxious, but he was supposed to be, in my opinion. So I think Will Ferrell did awesome, as usual. But, you know, we all have our opinions on that one. And like we've already said, all the actors and actresses did a really damn good job. I really like to see more of that waitress as well. She was funny. She came across really good as a good snarky waitress, and like I said, she reminded me of the Two Broke Girls, and especially of um, Cat Denning. Yeah, Cat Denning. Definitely reminded me more of Cat Denning than. But speaking of Kat Dennings, she was in WandaVision as well. Um, the same character as she played in Thor. So great. Anytime I can see more Kat Dennings, I love it. Fortunately, the blonde that was in Two Broke Girls, don't know what the hell happened to her. I love that TV show. That's why I keep talking about it. Guys, should watch it if you never have. It's been canceled, so you can watch from beginning to end. Anyways, so we're gonna move on to music. And Dave, your thoughts on music?
I thought the music soundtrack was actually pretty darn good. I mean, they had Frank Sinatra in there. It was definitely an interesting mix of music. Trying to look it up here real quick. Show exactly what was.
Yeah, tell me who that was, because I definitely have something to say with the music when it's my turn.
Okay, here's the soundtrack. Okay, so City of Love, performed by Persephone's Bees, and She Was, by the Talking Heads. Of course, they redid the Bewitched theme. We Won't Get Fooled Again by The Who. Witchy Woman, The Name Game, Witchcraft by Frank Sinatra, Promised Land by The Actual, Escape the Pina Colada Song, Bewitched by Steve Lawrence, Ding Dong, The Witch is Dead by Ella Fitzgerald, Dancing on the Perimeter, LOVE by Natalie Cole, Everybody Hurts, which was performed by REM, RC4, About Time, which was performed by Louis Armstrong, Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic, performed by The Police, Tonight, which is the theme song for The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, and of course the Wedding March from Summer Sun. So, if anybody wanted to know what was on the soundtrack, Tammy, what did you think about the soundtrack?
It was cute, all the different songs that related to witches in it. So
Okay, what about you, Boris?
Oh, I liked the music pretty much actually. I was keeping my Shazam on during the movie and capturing the titles to look them up later. They did sound pretty good.
Okay, and
Since
the
since
composer was actually George Fenton, who did such movies as the composing music behind Groundhog Day, Ever After, A Cinderella Story, The Bounty Hunter, Hitch. Those are some of the ones that he's known for. But go ahead, you were saying something, Boris.
I was going to say it often happens when I'm watching a movie for the first time that I fail to notice music, but in this movie I noticed it right away, so I guess that means something.
Yeah, there are some movies where the music is definitely more presentable, and
There's times when we get to this section where like music, and they ask me, and I'm like, "There's music." Like literally, that's my answer. Like I don't even notice it. I definitely notice music right off the bat. I'll tell you that. Were you done, Boris?
Uh, yeah, I guess so.
Okay, so my thoughts on the music. The first song was one of the most worst songs I've ever heard in my entire life. It was fucking horrible. I couldn't wait to get done, and I don't remember hearing it the first time at all. I must have just blocked it out of my memory because it was so fucking horrible.
Wait,
And I was
which
like,
one?
I honestly didn't remember what the music was like in the rest of the movie, and was thinking, oh god, I hope it isn't as horrible as this first one. So yeah, I was going into this fearing for how bad the music was going to be, because that song has to be the worst song I think I've ever heard in any movie ever.
The
It's
first one.
just atrocious. I don't know who the singer is, and I'm putting up my fingers in parentheses here. If you can
What
see
was
that,
the first song again?
if you can see that, that first fucking song is horrible, and that artist needs to get a new job.
Uh,
Learn how to
so,
sing.
so the very first song in the movie is the one you found so horrible.
How many times would you like us to say it, Boris?
Uh,
Yes, the first
uh,
song. The
I
song
want to know
before the second
what
song.
was the first song.
I've
I
got to
don't know. This shit
bring it up
horrible.
again.
What?
I got to bring it up again. I'd signed out of it.
I, I don't remember finding any song in this movie
City of
that
Love,
bad.
performed by Persephone's Bees.
Sorry, Dave, can you repeat that?
City of Love, performed by Persephone's Bees.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you can call it performed. That was too horrible.
Uh,
I'd almost rather hear myself singing. I suck.
Mm, I'm gonna have to look that song up later to see what was that horrible about it.
Hey, music is a taste thing, and maybe you guys just have no taste.
I like the soundtrack of this movie quite a bit.
I
Okay,
okay.
maybe.
Let me finish what I was gonna say. Now the rest of the movie had an awesome soundtrack, and kicked ass and fit the movie perfectly. Who's playing music?
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that song either.
So,
It kind of
Kroll,
sounded.
was it that song that you found so horrible?
It was horrible. Everything about it.
Yeah, but what was it this song that Dave just played?
Yeah, I just played Persephone's Bees, City of Love.
That's it.
He'll be back,
Okay.
but yeah, kind of not a good singer, whoever that was.
Mm, okay, maybe. Although I can't say I haven't heard much worse.
Well, it kind of sounds like some of the music that. Okay, I know that Tammy likes the that BMW German band. Forget it,
Oh,
what it was.
Dave, check out Facebook. Kroll left on purpose. He said, "Let me know when you're
I'm done.
done." Oh my.
The band you're talking about, Dave, is Trio.
Yeah, Trio. It kind of sounds similar to music that sounds like that. Although that was better.
Okay, tell Kroll to come back so we can finish this up.
Come back so that we can finish this up, or else I will finish this up.
Oh my. Oh, okay. Maybe that song isn't the best one ever, but geez, man, I have heard much worse music than that.
It is a song that I will never listen to again.
Jackass. As
But
I
anyways.
said, it's one of the worst songs ever. And the rest of the movie had awesome songs. They fit the scenes perfectly. They fit the music. None of the songs were made up for the movie. They were all just real songs that worked perfectly. And the composer did an awesome job there. I don't know what the fuck he had been smoking, what kind of crack he was on when he thought the first song and thought that was going to be good. Okay? Definitely on some crack or something. Or he got a crack in his head. Because, yeah. But the rest was great.
Give me a moment, I'll send you a link on Facebook for the real worst song ever.
No, thank you. I like entertainment.
Okay,
it's a small world after all on repeat.
It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. It's a small, small world.
No, Patrick Swayze and Ghost. Doing I'm Henry VIII, I am.
Henry VIII, I am. I got married to the wheel next door. She's been married 7 times before. Everyone was Henry. The eighth documentary. Henry VIII, I am.
He kept repeating
Second
that,
verse,
driving
same as
her
the first.
nuts.
Henry VIII, I am. Henry VIII, I am. That my mother used to play that song every day, just about, because she loves Harmonics. And I heard that song a billion times as a kid, so. I guess I got used to it. Because it didn't bother me. But boy, did he bother the hell out of Whoopi Goldberg.
Yes, he did.
Now that song's going to be stuck in my head.
I'm Henry.
It gets stuck in my head every once in a while, too.
Okay, if you don't like the song that's stuck in your head now, go listen to She's to Die For by David Burrell.
I'd never heard it, so how could it go in my head?
What?
I never heard it, so how could it go in my head? And Henry VIII I do like. Never said I didn't like it.
The song that I've just named is the one from Succubus Hellbent that I was searching for. I did send you
Okay,
that.
then I guess I've heard it once. I'm not obsessed with it like you.
If you had spent so much time and effort looking for it, you probably would be obsessed with it too.
That's what makes you obsessed about it. Again, I wasn't obsessed about it, so therefore I would not spend that much time looking for it. I spend time looking for things, but not usually music. A music that I love is easy to find.
Oh, lucky you.
It is. I guess that's a good thing with liking a lot of mainstream stuff. Not everything I love is mainstream, but a lot of it is.
Fair enough.
All was mainstream at some point in time. Okay, so I guess we're over to favorite scenes. And I want to do favorite character and favorite supporting actor and actress. Now, if your favorite character is a supporting actor and actress, go ahead and pick 2. Just because, yeah, that's what I want to do. So let's do favorite scene, favorite character, and supporting character. Go, Dave.
My favorite scene will
Or
be
scenes.
or
Or
scene.
scenes.
Well, favorite character will be Isabel. It will never be Will Ferrell. Never.
He wasn't my favorite. Yeah, like I said, his character, he was meant to play an asshole, so of course he wasn't a good character.
Not this much of an asshole, but anyways, uh, as far as favorite scene, I think I like the flirting scene when they're both like flirting with each other. It is kind of cute. But do I really think they had much chemistry? No. Um, I,
Really?
I didn't see it. Sorry. But I think my favorite scene is the supermarket scene, where her dad just kept showing up on everything.
Okay. Just be clear, Big Bath and Beyond is not a supermarket, it's a department store.
Well, it's got food and
So
Google.
does in Walmart, but Walmart's not a grocery store either. Walmart's a department store.
Whichever. To me, anything with food in it is a supermarket. So
Oh, okay. So restaurants are supermarkets. My house is a supermarket.
she wasn't
My
in a
apartment's a
restaurant. She was
supermarket.
in something that sold produce.
You didn't
Elephants
say
are
that. You said anything that has
microwaves.
food in it.
Anything that sells produce.
So a fruit stand
Not
is
necessarily.
a store.
Supermarket is generalizing it because that's what they used to call.
Department? No, they didn't. They called it an apartment store. I'm way older than you. Don't say what they used to call.
Okay, Tammy, maybe you can help me here. What's the difference between a supermarket and a department store?
Department stores don't usually carry food. Department stores are like Kohl's. They've got your home
But
decor. They
Walmart
got
does.
clothes. They got
Clothing.
jewelry. They got that.
So you're saying Walmart is not a department store?
Walmart's a superstore.
Right, but you're saying it's not a department store.
No, because before they added food, Walmart would probably be a department store. But now that a lot of them have food, they're more like a superstore.
Which is a little bit different than a supermarket.
A supermarket to me is Pick and Save, Aldi's,
Whatever that is. Shaw's, Stop and Shop, yeah.
And
what is that?
Yeah, Aldi. We have one of those here.
Those
Century.
Save a lot.
Save a lot.
Myers. That's what those are. I consider Walmart though exactly what they do call it. They call it a superstore because they got both.
I've always called it a department store.
Department stores, clothing and makeup.
Okay, fine. Then I guess this Bath and Beyond in this movie is a superstore.
Well, they had Bed Bath and Beyond the first time her father showed up. The second time her father showed up, they were in a grocery store. They were in two different stores.
That's what I thought. So
yes.
What a
first time he
topic
showed
to
up, they were
argue
at Bed
about.
Bath and Beyond, and she was buying things for her home.
Don't you
The
know,
second
Boris?
time-
We don't need an excuse to argue.
yeah, he
Kind
was in
of.
the supermarket when the second time she was talking to her dad.
Okay, my bad. My mistake. I admitted I was wrong.
Good.
Okay.
Wait, I was never wrong. I was mistaken.
And you know what
It's
I
about time.
admit?
Of course, my fingers are crossed.
Ha
I always admit when I'm wrong. It's never wrong.
You have been hexed. Anyways.
I'm just never wrong.
Ah,
do you admit that elephants are microwaves? Uh, that's an
Okay,
annoying
so
orange
the
joke. I
grocery
thought.
scene was your favorite scene.
yeah, I would have to
Okay.
say something.
And
It
who is
just
your who
kind of
is your favorite supporting actor?
supporting actor. I would say Michael Caine. He's a great actor no matter what he's in. So I I think that's pretty much it for me. I just don't have a lot to say on Will Ferrell and his character.
Well, there's still a lot of scenes without him. That was
We
great.
have already said enough about him. I think.
Yeah, I would like to erase him from existence in this
Well,
movie and like
he is in my scenes that I love, so suck it. Tammy, favorite scene or scenes, and favorite character and favorite supporting character.
Um, well, favorite supporting actor is the cat.
I have to agree
Ah,
that cat was kind of cute.
Favorite actor, yes, I like the girl playing Samantha. I liked her. She was cute. She was
Nicole
funny.
Kid,
Yeah.
well, Isabel. Nicole Kidman was
Nicole
a
Kidman,
Favorite
Tom
scene.
Cruise's ex-wife.
lucky
My
bastard.
favorite scene, I guess, would be when she went on the date with him, and they got back to the whole date scene. They got back to the house, and she realized that she wasn't supposed to do all that because she was supposed to be taking the hex off of him. And then they rewound it all the way back like that to when the hex was actually put on him. I thought that was kind of cool. I like that. You know, you have this whole big thing, this whole big date and everything, and then because she's like, I'm not gonna go on the date. I'm not gonna dress up. I'm not gonna. And then she goes and does the whole damn date, and they get back to the house, and she's like, I didn't do what I was supposed to do. And they rewind the whole fucking thing back. I thought that was pretty cool. So that's my favorite. Next.
mm,
Okay,
uh,
Boris, did you say your favorite scene and our favorite character?
I haven't. Uh, if Kroll hadn't requested to do both favorite character and favorite supportive character, my favorite character would probably be Isabel's father. But since he doesn't
You
really
can go
have,
ahead and pick two, dude. You can pick two supporting if you want.
Yep.
yeah, so he probably counts as a supportive character. Then my favorite character otherwise would be Isabel. But my
She's the
aside from
main
the
character.
well, yeah, if you don't pick a supportive character, you don't really have much of a choice, to be honest. Uh, and aside from the father, well, I did also like Aunt Clara, but I also liked the cat and the dog. They were both really cute. And the favorite scenes. Well, I did like the scene when they were casting the spell on Jack, mostly because of all that aesthetic with the candles and stuff, which we didn't see much of in the movie otherwise, aside from that scene. So that was really cool. And yeah, we have talked about the moment when all that happens, and then she just rewinds it as if it never happened. Now, I must say I was not that much of a fan of that because, like, we go through all that part of the movie where it's happening, and then it's just rewound as if it never happened. That was. Uh, I I didn't like that so much, but I did like the part when she made the chandelier fall on the guy's ex-wife's head, that was a spudao. Okay, that's good that she rewound it, but that was a really funny moment. And also a moment we didn't mention, which okay, it wasn't that important, but the moment when this girl told Isabel, "Your dad is a hoot," I laughed at that because I love owls. So yeah, I guess that would. Uh, yeah, I think that would. Oh yeah, and also the scene with the dog. I loved that scene too. So yeah, I guess that would be it.
Okay, what about you, Crow?
All right, so my favorite scenes. I think when he starts really falling in love with her, and the way the whole scene in the studio, and then them kissing, and the director's yelling cut, and they're still kissing and cut and kissing and cut, and then they're cuddling and cut, and the
Uh,
whole audience laughing the
uh,
whole time. Not laughing, but wooing them on, and that whole scene. And I have a second favorite scene as well. When she flies off the first time when they get into the argument, and he's like shoo shoo, and that big argument there after she tells him the truth and she flies off, and the way that they do it, you don't actually see her in the room, which would have been cool. I agree, but I think production
uh,
wise it would have been too expensive to do it, and the way they did it, you can imagine it, which is one thing you don't get in movies a lot is imagination. You just use your imagination as much like you do in books. So, and then most of the time you don't want to. That's why you watch a movie. I think this time it worked for the movie, doing it the way they did it. Kind of like in the old 60s, 70s style, like the way the TV show was, that they shows you enough to make you think that you're seeing her or do crazy stuff, even though you're not actually. So it tied in with the way the rest of the movie was and made it good. If you actually saw her flying, it wouldn't have tied in to the way the rest of the movie was and what its original show was. So I think they did a
uh,
great job with that, and that was one of my second favorite scenes. Um, I did enjoy the end, but for once, the ending wasn't my favorite scene, which usually it is in most movies. Um, Sometimes the
uh,
credits, especially the movies Dave chooses. but
uh, I I would say maybe in a way I could say the credits were my favorite scene in Succubus Hellbent, but not because I didn't
well,
like
you
the
really enjoyed
movie.
the music.
Yes, yes, that's why.
So I am going to give you some homework for us.
Yes.
Start watching Bewitched. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch all of it, but start watching it.
I
Whew.
believe that Tubi has it for
I was supposed
free.
to say if you have Hulu, it's on Hulu. Um, but if it's on Tubi, everyone has Tubi. So either way, I'm sure you can find it. And at least watch a few episodes and see what you like. And if you like it, keep going. But yeah, I personally, like I said, my favorite character on there on the TV show. Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you guys your favorite characters on the TV show, and I forgot. If you guys want to do that or end the show, whatever. My favorite was Tabitha on the TV show when she came into it. That was their daughter.
Uh, sorry, I forgot to mention one of my favorite scenes in the movie. I realized only later. I didn't mention it. The scene when the father was talking to Isabel through those pictures on food labels at the store. That was hilarious.
Okay, and I forgot to say who my favorite characters were. Isabel. And I have to have a tie between the father and Uncle Arthur. I know the father got way more scenes, and Michael Caine kicks ass. He always does. So not to include him would be a tragedy. He's great. He's always great. So I have to include him. And he got way more scenes, but that scene where the couple scenes that Steve Carell got, he fucking stole the scenes. And some of you might say, well, okay, let's see, he was with Will Ferrell and don't like Will Ferrell, but I love Will Ferrell, and he stole the scene. So, yes, I definitely have I have a tie for, so I technically have three, but oh well. So, yeah. And your favorite character on the original TV show, Dave?
I would have to say Samantha's mother is kind of my favorite on the.
Really, I hate her.
Oh, interesting.
For even though Samantha is kind of a close second.
Samantha's
I
definitely second.
I like her mother because she just shows up when she isn't wanted. She's like that mother you want to hate, but you also kind of want to fall in love with too. Because
No, she's more like the mother-in-law you want to hate.
yeah, partially, but
That's my opinion. I didn't like her, but I
she's
mean,
got
I liked the actress's portrayal of her, but the character was just yeah.
yeah,
I
she
love
was
to
a
hate
little
her.
bit
Put it that
smothering.
way. I love to hate her. And Tammy, what about you?
Oh, I guess my favorite.
You fell asleep again.
No, I was listening. I was waiting. I was trying to think of who my favorite character was.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
scenes. Oh no, never mind. Favorite character from the original show. I mean,
um, I guess I'd have to say Darren because
really, nobody likes Derek.
I felt sorry for him. You
Really?
know,
On the
everything
show.
always went wrong, and everything always happened to him. And
Well, hey,
even
that's what
though,
he gets for trying to suffocate a witch.
so I guess that's why I like him because it's just I feel sorry for him.
Already. I mean, I like Darren, okay, but again, the first Darren. Now, okay, first Darren or second Darren?
I probably watched the show more with the second one, but I do remember the first one.
Or who you like more though?
About the same.
Really? Yeah, me, Dick York.
I prefer Dick York.
Yeah, most people do.
I actually remember seeing more of Dick York than I do the other one. In fact,
I don't know
yeah,
which one I
yeah.
saw more of. Really, I think I saw most episodes, so I probably saw more Dick York. But either way, I Dick York is definitely more.
Was Dick York the first one?
Yes,
Okay, he was in more of the black and white ones though too. He was on the
Yes.
black and white ones.
he's
Yes.
a better actor.
I don't
The
know,
Lost Forest again.
but
I also remember seeing Dick York on the Twilight Zone. So
I don't remember seeing him anywhere but Bewitched. So if I did see it, I didn't realize it was him.
when I was a kid though, I was watching Bewitched all the time, and I watched I Dream of Jeannie all the time.
That's what I said. They're back to back. They were on back to back. And we watched reruns.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though we're old, it was older than us.
Yeah.
The Dick Van Dyke Show and stuff.
I remember my
Yeah,
Nana asked, because I'd watch it with my Nana, the two shows. She'd be like, which one would you rather be, the genie or the witch?
The Witch.
I wanted to be the genie.
I wanted to be
Yeah,
the Witch
well, at
even
that,
before I was one.
I know I watched both shows at the same time. So definitely Bewitched and
I Dream of Jeannie.
I Dream of Jeannie and were amongst some of the sitcoms that
Elizabeth Montgomery.
along with the Munsters and the Addams Family.
I don't think I watched them at the same time.
They used to be on back to back.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean all four together. Like I think I watched Munsters and Addams Family. I remember thinking that Addams Family were like kind of like monsters, like. So I remember when I was a kid, I was saying, "Oh no, they're regular. They're just weird."
See, I have such a diverse
Except
older
for
television show watching. Like
now, Wednesday is fucking phenomenal.
which one?
Wednesday.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
Oh my god, dude. Jenna Ortega just kicks ass in that. I mean, she's awesome. She is absolutely awesome. But she is Wednesday through and through. I can't believe you haven't seen that yet. Wow, where you been?
I just finally watched.
We might now because we've got this with this TV. We got Prime. So
Yeah, Brandon for my birthday ended up buying us a 50-inch.
Wow, it's nice to have rich friends.
no, he got some sort of a deal. So
Yeah, you got a deal on it.
Put it this way. Okay, I'm sorry I didn't get you a gift, but if I did, it wouldn't have been a 50-inch TV no matter how good of a deal I got. Unless I had money like Brendan does. I mean, he's not rich. I know what he makes. Oh, I don't know exactly what he makes, but I know he doesn't make as much as he should.
With as much as he does, I do think that he should make more, but I do think that Brandon.
If he lived up here, I think he said it because I was telling him they're hiring, but it was here for a therapist, and it was 3 times. He said it was something like 3 times more when he gets paid.
Brandon buys a lot of movies too.
He buys a lot of things. That's why, and he has a house and everything. So that's why I know he may not be rich, but he's well off. He's definitely higher middle class. You can tell that.
Oh yeah.
I think Jacob is too, and of course I think he lives at home with his mother, so probably doesn't pay rent or doesn't pay much rent. I don't really know the exact. But he works for the town as the library, and then he has his own business as well. So I'm sure he's doing well too.
Yeah, I think he's just okay with living with his family.
You definitely can kind of. I mean, they don't ever act snobby, per se, but you definitely there's times you can definitely tell the way they say stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you do would. When you're poor, usually you notice those things.
the show is just called Wednesday.
Yeah, it's it came out on Netflix.
Yeah, it's Wednesday Addams.
I believe
it's her. It's her going off
Netflix,
to.
Right?
It's her going off to a college. That was the college where Morticia and what the fuck's his name? Where the father met, and she didn't want to go, but they forced her. And they had Han to go with to spy on her.
Well, now we can watch things like House of the Dragon, which has in the living room.
Why couldn't you watch it before?
Because we didn't have access to Amazon.
Because he bought you a smart TV?
Yeah, he got us a smart TV.
Wait a minute, you bought a smart TV. What happened to the smart TV you bought?
Oh, the smart TV I bought
is
in my room. We didn't have a smart TV in the living room, and her TV in the
TV
bedroom.
was smart, but you're not.
Yeah, he was definitely smart for getting us that. So now we have access to a lot more shit.
Okay, yes, Brandon is smart, but you're still not. I'll leave Tammy out of it because she didn't have any control because he bought the TV.
Kroll, did you just say that the TV
Yeah,
was smarter than Dave?
Yes.
My TV is
Oh,
smarter than me. Yes, I agree. That I
well,
have in my room. I see. I went out and got a
that's
32
what.
inch, and that was actually the first time I'd actually bought a TV at a regular store.
Hey, that's a big fucking TV. It's bigger than mine. I have a
A
27.
32
So,
inch.
yeah, I have a 27. So I think.
Well, and this is the biggest TV.
Or maybe it's a 32 inch. I don't know.
And Tammy had a hard time with taking the TV we had and putting it elsewhere because that was also her first buying of a TV. So
Hey, just be glad it wasn't.
it's hard
Just be
when
glad
you
it
think,
wasn't like the TVs in the 50s, where you were better off moving than trying to move that thing.
it's hard when you struggle and struggle and struggle, and when you finally get actually buy your own TV on your own without like your parents' help or anything. It's hard to let that TV go. So right, Tammy?
Hey, guys,
Wasn't hard for
sorry,
me.
I guess.
I
I
I
bought
need to
myself a
say
13 inch color TV and let that go the second I was bought a better one.
uh, I need to say my internet connection has been glitching. As you have seen, I have been dropping out. So if I suddenly disappear and don't return, that's probably why.
Okay. Well,
All right.
Well,
I
then we
think
should
we're
probably wrap
pretty
this
much.
up.
I mean, we're done. The movie's over. So
Yep. So hopefully the public out there has enjoyed our discussion on this film. Like, share, and subscribe.
What's our
We'll
next movie?
our next movie, since it's my choice.
Well, again?
Yes,
So it's
because
been that
you
long?
chose this way. You chose this one. Yes, it's my choice again. Because we had we had Boris last week.
Please
Wait.
don't fucking torture me again.
No, we had Pig last
If
week.
if you want to take revenge on Kroll, please try not to take revenge on the rest of us too.
Um, I I already had this in mind. It's an animated feature called Felidae, FEL.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that one.
Can you put that in the chat? We gotta start doing that because people forget. Hell, I forgot I chose Bewitched until luckily I remembered it.
I forget you guys are like old people and don't remember shit.
Do you know what this movie is for tomorrow?
At least he said, well, I was like an old person instead of I am.
Oh, wait. Oh, that's right. You're not coming on Mondays right now.
What?
Forgot about that.
I'm coming on this Monday. What were you gonna say?
You're not coming on Mondays anymore, right?
I said I'm coming on this Monday.
Oh, it's Unbreakable.
I know.
Oh,
Brandon told me.
I picked.
He wrote it in the chat like he always does. Of course, he hadn't written it until I asked. Well, until I said I was going to come on the show, and then he put it down.
I believe the only place I've seen it at is on YouTube. So far as I know.
Well, that sucks.
Why does it suck if it's on
That's
YouTube?
because it doesn't have a physical release on DVD. It is only on VHS.
So it's an old movie, old anime.
It's
Wait, is it animated or anime?
It's animated.
It might be all right.
It's not anime.
But it's not DC or Marvel.
No.
I mean, I would choose a good animated DC Marvel animated. That's what I'd like to watch someday.
It's from 1994. It's an
Oh,
adult
Trying,
animated
I was
history.
about to ask my sister. There's a The Gifted. Have you guys seen the movie The Gifted?
The Gifted?
The Gifted.
The Gifted.
No.
It's like a mystery. Um, it's like a mystery, but it's also psychic. It's got a huge cast. Hold on a second.
What year is it from?
I don't know.
Is it a movie or a TV show?
A movie. The TV show is completely different than the movie.
There's a movie called Gifted, but without the from 2017. Not sure if that's the one.
Nope.
Uh,
It
Yeah,
has a huge cast. Wesley Snipes. Plus, they gave me the TV show when I had typed The Gifted. That was a Marvel show. Oh, maybe it is just Gifted. They listed as a drama. The fuck? That's not what my sister said. Chris Evans. Wait, this ain't it. No, this is not.
oh
The
yeah,
Gifted.
is that it?
What?
Is that the one with Chris Evans, McKenna
That's
Grace,
not the right
and
movie.
that's not the right?
No.
The Gift, maybe?
This one has the Karate Kid girl. What's her name? The one who is the girl Karate Kid.
Oh, that would be the new Karate Kid.
No, not that reboot.
No,
The next Karate Kid.
the next, yeah. That's what I was thinking.
What's her name?
Looking.
Oh my God.
Her name is Hilary Swank.
That's it. Thank you.
She's in a lot of movies I like.
Yeah, she's all right.
I'm looking. But let us know down in the comments of what you thought of this film. And we'll definitely see you next week, ladies and gentlemen. So at this point, everyone say good night.
Good night.